Welcome, one and all.
Check out this week's live stream.
Welcome to the show.
Hello, I'm Jimmy, and welcome to my house.
BALLCAP Nation. Assemble.
Let's go. Let's go indeed. Welcome everybody into a Tuesday night live BALLCAP Nightcap. Everybody that's in here now, hit that like. We are going on to Tuesday. Like, hit that thing. Let's get this thing started. And again, welcome everybody in there. Let me just address some of the nice, fine folks that we have in the live stream. Wardy, Rocky, William, Kyle, Zachary, David, Gernster, Patrick Starr, Forgiveness or Love, Harmon Bassey, Baseball Domain, Dan Ramos, AB, welcome in, and a special welcome in to Kyle and Wardy and David, who are here as members, taking it to a new level. Thank you guys for being here. Welcome in again. Hit that like if you're here right from the start. I appreciate you being here, setting that appointment with me to spend a Tuesday night. I hope that you enjoy the show tonight. We have some good stuff planned. Eric Roberts, welcome in. Pricey, welcome in. Colin, welcome in. Pat Waiter, I don't know how to say that. I've seen you here, bro, a few times. I cannot get that pronunciation right. I apologize. Jolly, how do you become a member? So nice, great question. Thank you for that. You got to get to the channel homepage on a computer. That's the best way to do it. There is a little join button that doesn't automatically sign you up, but you click on that and a video of me pops up describing everything that goes into being a member. So there's that. Zachary, welcome in. Again, Finesse, Don, welcome in. Philadelphia checking in. Welcome from Philadelphia. So we have a good one tonight. I appreciate everybody that's here early, right at the start. It is lunchtime for Pricey. So, okay, here we go. Let's get into this, guys, because we do have a lot to get into, and we have a couple of guests. I want to make sure that we nail the time stamps that I've given myself. I will be commenting with the chat, and we're going to get through a few items here. First item that I had up is the Dodgers and Justin Turner going back to the Dodgers. 2-year deal, club option for a third. Is this over the top? Everybody that's in the chat live with me, are they a lock? This is starting to feel like those Jordan Bulls teams where, yeah, you got to play the season out, but they're the overwhelming favorite. So you got to let me know. I mean, we got to play this thing. It's going to be a great season, but it just feels like the inevitable is that the Dodgers are going to take this thing. And I partially blame the Padres for all of this. Padres fans, you and your franchise should be ashamed of yourself. You had to go get fancy with Snell and Darvish and do all of that, and look what you made the Dodgers do. You pushed the Dodgers too far, and they go out, they get Bauer, they bring Turner back. All kidding aside, Padres and Dodgers, it is going to be a fun season watching them go back and forth. And everybody that's here hanging out, I brought the BALLCAP formal back in case you're, brought the BALLCAP formal back for another Tuesday. We'll see if it is back next Tuesday. So we get Justin Turner going to the Dodgers. We have Wardy in here. We got to talk about the Mets. What's going on with the Mets? I put a bunch of poll questions out last night about the Mets. If the Mets are okay, majority say no. Most on my poll about what outfielder is going to bring the most believe it will be Kevin Pillar. And the funny thing is, I even forgot an outfielder when I was putting that poll together. Jose Martinez is on the Mets. So the Mets bring in Pillar. It's a 1-year deal, could go to 2. It just seems to me like they're completing their roster as if it is a fantasy baseball team, right? Like they're just loading up on outfielders. They've got 3 outfield positions, and they've got 7 guys, right? You got Malik Smith, you got Jose Martinez, you got Kevin Pillar, you got Albert Almora Jr., and that's on top of Dom Smith and Brandon Nimmo and Michael Conforto Jr. So there's a lot of going on there. Depth champs, yes. The depth chart is big. These are ultimately, they will be viewed as good moves once the season gets going on. But for right now, it just has me feeling like there's a trade in the air. I don't know if it's Nimmo. I don't know if it's Dom Smith. We're going to have to wait and see. But with all of these moves, we knew the Mets wanted to get some right-handed bats in that outfield, and they've done that now. The question is, who's going to get all the playing time? So I feel like there is a trade looming. I feel like with the pitching depth that they have and the outfield depth that they have, they can use that to go and get somebody. Is it Kyle Hendricks from the Cubs? Is it Sonny Gray from the Reds? Is it Marquez from the Rockies? Tyler and I were messaging about this last night. I think the easiest trade is Marquez, just because I think the Cubs are going to want to see what they've got. They're going to want to try to get this thing going. World Traveler, welcome in. So I think the Cubs are going to want to hold pat. Mets might be able to pull that trade off in a month. William, thank you for the super chat. If you believe Twitter, the Mets have been in on everyone. So have the Blue Jays. I mean, I can't. The Blue Jays and the Mets have been linked to everybody, and they're doing it again with Taijuan Walker. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the Mets and Jays again in on the same guy. But I gotta feel, Papa, welcome in. I just feel like there's a trade looming. Whether they can make this trade now or whether they have to do it in, May, there will be, I feel, a trade. They'll use that outfield depth. They'll use that pitching depth to go get an upgrade in that rotation, right? So I think the Mets make a move there that kind of leads to ultimately to that taking place. The Yankees are the next team I want to talk about. They made a couple of moves in the last 24, 36 hours. They signed 3 guys that kind of complete the team. Now they get the lefty in the bullpen with Wilson. They get their lefty bat with Jay Bruce. Now I understand it's Jay Bruce, and Jay Bruce is getting up there in age. It's only going to be his age 34 season. He has been okay, right? I don't know if Yankee fans are going to have the patience for Jay Bruce, but again, he gives them the lefty bat that they've been looking for. And they signed Robinson Chirinos, who gives them depth at catcher, which is interesting to me. I kind of feel like they signed Robinson Chirinos only to cut Robinson Chirinos. You guys let me know what you think after you watch this.
If I was a Yankees player, I kind of feel disappointed in the 9th when the stadium was kind of empty. Like that team win over 100 games, so it just say a lot about the fans, But for us, we just have to continue doing what we've been doing. And
he's taking a shot at the fans. Are you kidding me? World Traveler, thank you for the super chat, my friend. I appreciate that. Go Jays. Yes, go Jays for sure. I mean, woof, he's taking a shot. I'm telling you, they signed him so they can cut him. But we'll see. Ultimately, we'll see. It gives them 3 catchers now. I think that it's a long shot that he really sees any significant time. And one more piece I want to talk about, because we put out the poll, and I got a handful of people. I got a bunch of people saying, talk some Braves. I'm going to talk some Braves for a minute, get it started here early. We can revisit it later, but I do want to talk Braves for just a minute. And I want to talk about that projection sort of as a preview for what Robbie Hyde and I are going to talk about around 10:30 when we dive into the American League. But we're going to talk about the projections. We're going to talk about the over-unders, talk about the Braves and the projection that they got from Pacoda, from Baseball Prospectus, projected for just 82 wins. You've been watching my channel. I've been talking about how the Braves and the Mets are going to battle it out all season long for the number 1 spot in the National League East. And then you got Baseball Prospectus putting the Braves 4th in that division. It was amazing. But if you're a Braves fan, don't give it a second thought, in my opinion. I made a graph. I made a chart. You Braves fans, you commented you want Braves. I'm bringing you Braves. I made a chart. Look at Pacoda's projections over the last 3 years for the Braves. In 2018, they projected 76 and they won 90. In 2019, they projected 85 and they won 97. And in 2020, they projected 31 and won 35. Now, whether they're just sleeping on the Braves or the algorithm is wrong, something's wrong, because the projections are always underselling the Braves. So any Braves fans that are in here, you're good. Don't worry about it at all. William, it's going to be fine. The Braves are going to be right where we think they're going to be. The Braves and the Mets are going to battle, and I think it's going to be a fun season. So the Braves are good. Ian Anderson, Mike Soroka, Max Fried, Charlie Morton. They bring Ozuna back. They've got the MVP. They've got who could be the MVP in 2021 with Acuna. It's going to be a battle between the Braves and the Mets all season long, in my opinion. So that is just a quick touch on the Braves. Again, we can talk more about the Braves after when we get to the extra innings portion of the program. Once we bid adieu to Robbie Hyde, but that's later. We got a lot to get to between now and then. So let's talk about this. We have a big show. I think you're going to like the show tonight. Put some work into this one. I got two guests that I think you guys are going to love. My first guest is a masterful artist when it comes to doing jersey swaps and all that. We're going to dig into that. Izzy Rendell is here. After Izzy, we have the streaming machine. Pretty much every night you can find him streaming. Robbie Hyde is here. So we've got a good show. I say we like I've got a team. I've got a good show for you guys tonight. I hope you enjoy it. Don't go anywhere. Stay close. And I will be right back.
In the eyes of a ranger, the unsuspecting stranger.
There's a great-looking fastball over the outside corner, one down.
Wrong from right. 'Cause the eyes of the ranger are upon.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Taijuan Walker.
He's gonna see.
Taijuan Walker just struck out the side. He is awfully sharp in the early going.
Because that's where the Rangers gonna be.
All right, everybody, look out for Walker Watch weeknights, every night, 9 o'clock East, 8 o'clock Central, and on the weekends. It's all the time at this point for Walker Watch. I hope you guys enjoy that one. Having fun with that one. Okay, let's get Izzy in here. Let's do this. All right, my first guest tonight comes all the way from the UK. Don't bother doing the math in your head with the time. Just leave it alone right now. Izzy Rendell, welcome into the BALLCAP Nightcap. Thank you for taking some time to join us.
Hello, happy to be here.
I want to take a few minutes. Anybody that doesn't know Izzy, the work that she does with the jersey swaps, the images is fantastic. It's some of the best I've seen. So I wanted to have Izzy on to talk about that. It's sort of fascinating in my realm and baseball fans in general love to see real quick the players' jerseys change. So I wanted to dive into that. And I wanted to talk with you about that. We'll put the Trevor Bauer one up now. Tell me how you got started. How long ago did you get started? How did you get started? What was that process of were you just messing around? Tell me about that.
So I think I did my first one would have been last off season, so like the 2019. Because I do a few graphics and stuff for a site called Diamond Digest, like stuff on Twitter and article headers. And they were like, "Oh, we want a jersey swap for," I think it was for Garrett Cole when he was going to. I mean, the swap was for the Angels, so obviously didn't really work out.
Right.
But I'd never done one before and was like, I might as well give it a go. So did that, and I think another one, and then that was literally the only two I did in 2019.
Okay.
Then I didn't do any kind of jersey swap, anything like that, literally until this off season.
And you've been busy.
Been busy, yeah. I can't remember what the first. I have to try and find what the first. I think it was the first one I did this off season was I think it might have been with the Tigers when there was the whole sort of Dull to Detroit
Yeah. Yes.
kind of trend. I did a swap for that. I think it's on there. It's right at the top left on the screen right now. And that was, I
Yeah,
think,
there
the
it is.
first one I did this off season. Was obviously like it's a very big leap. I don't think I'll have to try and repost the Cole one at some point because it's quite a big change. Like you look back at the Cole one from last year, and it's
Yes.
just not. It's not on the same level at all.
Right.
But yeah, no, I just think I just sort of came back. Obviously, it got a little bit better at Photoshop, and then I think a few of them did well, and I thought I might as well, keep up, do a few more.
Yeah.
It's just kind of escalating there a little bit.
It's, I mean, you gotta have. I know that you've done. I think I've seen with Trevor Bauer. I've seen a lot of different variations. I think I saw one with the White Sox. On this, there's one with the Angels. You got to be prepared. So when it happens, you're ready. You've got a bunch of different swaps so that you have the right one. That's the way I do it when I'm preparing right now. You know, there's been a lot of trade talk with Chris Bryant, maybe going a couple different places. So in the limited Photoshop skills that I have, you know, I've switched the hats and the tops of the jerseys to be if he goes to the Mets or if he went to the Blue Jays or if he went to the Nationals. I've done that, right? You got to do a whole bunch. And that's actually kind of fun to do that anyway. What's the process like for you? How long does it take for you to do? Let's pull up this Trevor Bauer one, because the Trevor Bauer one, I think there's a lot of detail here, right? With the jersey, sort of the stretching, the lines, the way the jersey falls with the name of the team. Tell me about how long does it take for you to do something like this Trevor Bauer one?
Something like this it was actually pretty quick. I think it's probably maybe, it doesn't take that long. I've gotten pretty good at, I guess, clearing out all of the old jersey stuff. So like I think this was a Cleveland jersey, kind of clearing that stuff out. Now, you know, because I've just got a little bit better, it probably, unless there's loads of really weird folds and detail, it could probably only take like half an hour to get rid of all of that.
Right.
And then ones like this, there isn't really a lot of, because it's only little small bits that kind of needed color changing. It didn't take that long.
Okay.
And it really, I don't know, there's a few that are just a lot quicker. I think
Sure. How about the Arenado one? Was the Arenado one, because there's more shading in this one?
Yeah. This one, I mean, it feels like this one took ages because I tried, I think, 2 other Arenado swaps before this that I kind of just left halfway through because they were just not going how I wanted. But again, it's another one that it was quicker than I thought it was going to be. There was a lot of like the actual kind of getting the logo on and all of that stuff I found a pretty good reference photo early on and it just kind of worked straight away. But this one, it was a lot of the color changing, like the sleeves and the hat going from kind of black to red. I still don't really like how it looks now, but that just took so long. Yeah, all in all, it's maybe a couple hours. Most of them, I try to be a bit and like I won't always edit in the number on the front because that's what always takes ages.
Yeah, and you
so
did it.
Kind of cut.
That's a lot of work. That's what makes it look authentic, is the fact that right there in that bottom corner underneath the St. Louis is part of that number. And it's something that if you're cutting corners, you could probably cut that part out and just forget about it. But it's that nice little detail that adds to the authenticity of the whole thing.
Yeah, I do. If I think I could get away with it, I do usually leave it out. I kind of only keep them in if the sort of base, the number, that if they've already got a number on there that looks pretty similar to the new jersey, then I'll keep it. But there's a lot. I think most of my Nationals ones I haven't put the numbers on because it's just that's just I think the hardest bit to get right. And if it looks wrong, it just kind of throws everything off. And a lot of time, I don't think people always people are still gonna like it and like seeing them in the jersey if they don't have the little kind of number on the front.
They'll still like it. How about this Springer jersey? We have a lot of Blue Jay fans that keep an eye on the channel and follow. We have the Springer swap. Talk I guess a little bit about the Springer one. Was this one you've got sort of with the helmet, the reflection and everything up there? Was this one that was a little bit easier, a little bit quicker? Tell me about the process with the Springer.
Yeah, it was a bit, I think the first bit, getting rid of the old jersey stuff, was a bit longer because it's coming from, the Astros jerseys where they got the different coloured stripes on the inside. So that was a bit of a nightmare to get off. But the actual putting stuff on, again, was pretty easy. I found a lot of it's just in finding like a good reference photo with the right angle. But this one just, I don't know, it just came together a lot easier. There wasn't as lot, like, because it was already a blue jersey, it was a lot easier to change the color. And yeah, it came together, I think, easier, but I spent a lot of time on this, on like the little details. Like the base and stuff was done pretty quick, but all the little like shading, the little lighting, the highlights took a lot longer. But I don't, this is probably my favorite one, I think.
And that was actually going to be one of my next questions is what is your favorite piece of work? I mean, if you could pick one, it's probably like trying to pick like who your favorite kid is if you have children. Like, I don't know. I love, there's so many that I love equally. Is there one, we'll pull up the large, the multiple pieces of work. Is there one that kind of stands out to you as your favorite piece of work? Is it that Springer one? Is it a different one?
I think it probably is the Springer. It's the one that I think looks either the Springer or right at the bottom, the Ozuna to the Red Sox, because they're just the two that I think look like spot on to how I wanted them to look. I do like the Arenado because it just did it did well, so I quite like seeing it around everywhere.
Right. Yeah, it did. It did go. I did see that. Yep.
Yeah. And I liked like the color of the jersey and stuff, but there's little bits of that one that I don't like. I still don't like how the sleeves look, but the Springer to the Blue Jays and Ozuna Red Sox were the two that I was just like, yeah, these look exactly how I want them to look.
And unfortunately for Red Sox fans, it didn't work out Ozuna to the Red Sox. He went to the Braves. Now, for something like that, is there, I guess there really isn't a quick switch there to try to switch it from Red Sox to Braves, or is it quicker because the color scheme is sort of similar if you were trying to switch that to a Braves situation? Now, I guess, well, let me back that up because anyone that's listening is like, Jim, what are you talking about? He was just on the Braves. You don't need to do a jersey swap. But if it was, let's say in general, a team maybe was going to the Braves for the first time, right? Let's say it was a player that was with, let's say Ozuna was coming from Miami, right? And it was either the Braves or the Red Sox, and you had the Red Sox done, but you didn't have the Braves because the Braves were a mystery team, right? Would it be a quick switch if the color schemes are similar like that, or would you still be starting from scratch?
It would be quicker because I guess all of the like when I'm changing the colors, it's masking out like the bit where the jersey is and then just putting adjustments to change that. So you save a lot of time by having it already masked out and cropped out and everything. But that's kind of all you save on because obviously I think more of the time is spent putting the new stuff on, and I don't like reusing the same picture. Like you can kind of see where I've got all of the
they vary
ones. None of them are the same. I like using like a new photo, but I mean it's probably not the best thing to do because it does not it just adds so much more time, but I think it's a little bit more fun to get a new one each time and kind of a new photo.
Yeah, that I can see that, right? It's you've got a couple different Ozunas here. You've got Springer you've got a Nationals, the Red Sox, the Blue Jays, and they're all different. The Mets, they're all different. So that is kind of fun to see it in just different shapes, if you will. So that process when you're going through it, is there anything you can say like from start to finish? What's the like? How do you find? Because this is one of the things I've looked at. When you're looking at somebody like a Trevor Bauer, are you going and trying to find a similar Dodgers jersey that you can try to mold over this? Give me like a quick, I don't know if you even can, like a 60-second process overview. What's the process like from start to finish?
So it's starting with just a photo of the player that I like that I want to do the swap for. Usually, like I'll pick a picture like this where it's not the logo and the jersey isn't at a really weird angle because they're just harder to swap. Like if you can get it square on, that's better and like as high quality as you can find. And then first of all, I'm just editing out all of the existing stuff. So the logo on the hat, on the jersey, the number, if there's any little logos on the belt or anything like that, clearing that out. So you've basically just got like a blank slate. And then the thing I do first before I kind of add any other logos on is just change the colors of what needs to be changed. So if it's the jersey, the belt, the glove, kind of anything like that, adding like adjustments to get the right color. And then to get sort of the Dodgers on that, I'll find, a reference photo of a Dodgers player in that similar angle. So usually I'll try and find like the equivalent Dodgers player. So like I'd look for a picture of a pitcher because it's more likely to get that kind of stretched angle. And then I'll usually if I'm being smart about it, and I know they've got like new jerseys, I'll try to search for a player that's only joined recently, because I know I'm going to get a reference for like the most up-to-date jersey that only really comes into play with, you know, teams that have recently changed, like the Padres or something. And then all I'm doing is I'm just cutting out the logo from that reference picture of, like, if it's a picture of like Kershaw, taking the Dodgers from that, cropping it out, and then putting it on here. And obviously kind of adjusting it, warping it a little bit, to match up, and then adding, like, you know, the light, the shadows, and that's pretty much it. And it's the same thing to get the jersey number. So if I am going to put it on like here, I knew it was going to be a bit easy to put the number on because it's quite like a flat surface. So I'll either try and find a player on the Dodgers that wears 27, which obviously sometimes works out well if it happens to be like a big player, or, you know, I'll look for someone that wears 20 and 17 and kind of work from there.
Yeah. It's a fascinating process. I mean, you know, there's been some, and I think I've seen some people do like time lapses on YouTube channels of it. I think I saw a time lapse on your Twitter for that Arenado piece. I think I saw that at one point. Am I remembering that correctly?
I think the Arenado, I think it was like a time lapse of like the later build up. I've got a couple. I think I did a time lapse for a Bauer one. I'm trying to do a longer like tutorial video at the moment, but I've tried it a few times and I've not quite. I want it to be a really good swap. You don't know starting off if it's gonna work out how you want it to. So.
Right, I can understand that. You're kind of going into it hoping, okay, I hope this is the right one because I'm putting a lot into this. I'm recording and everything.
It's always ones like the Arenado that I wish I'd got a time lapse for, or like the spring. You obviously can't go back in hindsight.
Now, before we let you go, I think I've also seen that you've got some wallpapers that you're doing. This looks like a cool wallpaper for a phone using Lindor with the Mets. Is that aside from the swaps? I guess tell the viewers some of the other work that you maybe do along with wallpapers. Anything else that you do that they should keep an eye out for?
Yeah, I do a lot of wallpapers. That used to be the main thing I did kind of last season. I still do it a little bit, but probably not quite as much. I like just doing a lot of, you know, just general graphics, whether it's just like, I know players had a good performance in a certain game, might try and make a graphic for that. One thing I do a lot if I'm feeling like I kind of really want to brush up the skills is I'll kind of pick a team and do a kind of whole redesign of all of their sort of social media templates. I don't know, I still haven't done a baseball team, which is doesn't really make any sense because that's obviously the sport that I follow, but I've done a couple hockey teams and a few football teams of kind of doing all of the sort of graphics that are on social media, but that's the kind of main stuff. And then, like I said, I do some like article headers and things like that for Diamond Digest as well.
Cool. Do you have a favorite team?
Yeah, Nationals.
The Nats. Okay, cool. That is very good.
So, there are a couple more swaps, I think, for the Nats
for the Nats.
The other teams.
that Bell one worked out nice for you. There's and we have a few Nats fans that I know follow the channel and maybe watching now. Favorite player? Do you have a favorite player?
It's tricky. It was probably, I mean, now it's probably leaning towards Soto a bit, but I like Turner. He came up when I first started getting into baseball and into the Nats, so kind of got I guess a more soft spot. I did really like Rendon as well, but I'm trying to kind of more the loss to the Angels with that one.
He's gone now. He left. He turned on the Nats. I hear you there. Yeah. Soto's a great one. Soto and Turner, if they can just build around those two, the future, and Strasburg, right? Keep him healthy and build around him. Things should stay relevant in DC for a while. Well, I appreciate you coming on. How can people find you? Tell everybody where they can find you on social media or any other outlets.
I'm on Twitter, probably the most, Izzy Rendell. I do have an Instagram. I think it's Izzy Rendell Design, but I don't know. I don't really use it as much. I post a few things, start to use a bit more, but kind of most places it's Twitter. That's where I'm usually at. Perfect. Well, make sure you find Izzy on Twitter, as you know, for all these photoshops, these jersey swaps. It's some great work, and I appreciate you coming on and taking some time to talk about your work. And again, we're working on a crazy time difference here, me being on the East Coast and Izzy being in the UK. So I appreciate
us being able to work this out, you being able to find some time to do this. Thank you again, Izzy.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Sorry, guys. I just realized I was muted. Yes. So again, thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed Izzy. I think that she's doing some of the best work out there when it comes to the jersey swaps, and it's some of the cleanest stuff. Again, I love that. I love that Springer. Who here? Because my next guest is ready to go. This is a big moment, guys. But here's what we got to do. We have a lot of people here. We need more likes. I need at least 10 more likes, and we're gonna bring Robbie Hyde in. Robbie's waiting for you guys. We need a couple likes. If you're hanging out in the channel and we're not there, I need 10 more likes. I'm watching it now. Get us to 10 more likes, and we're gonna bring Robbie in. We are going to be doing an American League. We're gonna do the over-unders. We're gonna talk about who's gonna overperform. We're gonna be basing it off of that baseball prospectus, because the Vegas isn't out yet. There are odds to make the playoffs and all that. So I think we got our likes. Are we there? Let me just refresh. Everybody hit that like to get Robbie Hyde in here. We are there. We are over. So we're going to get Robbie in here. Let me get my screen set up the right way, and let's do this thing. Robbie Hyde, how are you, sir?
What's going on, baseball fans? How you doing? How's it going?
It is good. It is a Tuesday night, and baseball is in the air. The pitchers and catchers are reporting here in hours now. It's no longer really days. You can count the hours. It's good, man. How are you? Thank you for coming on and making your video debut on BALLCAP Sports here.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, one thing when I first started my channel years ago, you can hear me, right? Okay, the microphone's okay.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay,
I got you. Great.
Perfect. I never do the StreamYard, so I'm always like, I wonder if everything's working all right. But when I first started the channel, like a year ago, one thing I wanted to do was collab with people, talk with people. So I love this. I love that I'm doing this. So
it's almost isolating in a way. It's odd because you're interacting with so many people in the chat, but you don't have like coworkers, right? There's nobody to like talk to about an idea or anything, unless you collaborate with people. Otherwise, you're kind of on an island. Right now, your island can be filled with a lot of people that follow the channel and like what you're doing. But when it comes to the inner workings of it,
one of the reasons. Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
Go ahead. Well,
I was gonna say, the main reason I started a baseball channel in the first place, because I have one close friend, like in person, that I talk to about baseball, and I was like, I got to talk to more people about this stuff, because one person he's a huge Yankee fan. He's my best friend. So we lived together for 2 years. So Red Sox fan, Yankees fan. That was quite the living situation at one point. So he saw my heartbreak in 2011 when the Red Sox choked down the stretch. That was a fun time. That was fun. So we were watching the Rays Yankees game that night when everything happened, when Papelbon blew the save and then Longoria had the walk off. The Yankees were playing the Rays, and but that's all I have in my actual day-to-day life, baseball fan wise. And so that's why I wanted to start a channel. It's what an amazing experience it's been, like, over however, since, especially lately, because we've been growing like so much, and you have as well. So, but I love this fact. You're right. It's like almost like kind of like coworkers in a way. Like, cool. We can kind of meet and talk about stuff. And,
I like it. It's been fun to grow. I think you and I started doing content around the same time. I think we started around. Were you sort of towards the end of 2019, early 2020, sort of in that time frame?
Yeah, December 10th. This was the first ever video. It's such a bad video. If anyone wants to go to my very first,
that's the beauty of leaving that up. You got to leave that stuff up.
Yeah, I didn't even plug in my microphone. It was like I was actually going to do a podcast at first. I was going to do a Red Sox podcast because I was like, you know what, I'm bored. I gotta find a new hobby. I gotta find something fun to do. And And I was doing that. I was recording it on my laptop on the whatever the recording software is on there, and I was filming it at the same time. I was like, oh, maybe I could do like a video podcast too. And I was like, oh, you know what? I plugged my microphone into the laptop. I never plugged it into the phone, and so I'm literally just sitting in my room, and I'm talking quietly, and it's like it's so bad, like it's so. But I wanted to leave it there, and I still have a couple of people here and there comment on it. You're like, oh, this is where it all started. So I hope hopefully me and you, we can keep growing, and we can go back to those terrible videos, 3 years from now, and
they're the benchmark. They're not the benchmark. They're like they're the history piece, right? This is where it began, because that's what when you get to certain levels and people find you and they'll go back. I mean, I've done it. You go back and you check the beginning. What was it like in the beginning with everything? It's kind of fun to do that. It's funny. I was the same way. I started with a podcast. It was BALLCAP Sports. I had a podcast. I shut the thing down, but I did that for a few months. And then I decided to try to take the same content, I recorded a show for the podcast and I recorded the video for YouTube, and I got like quadruple. The viewers were more than with the podcast, and I'd put months into the podcast. I was like, well, that's done. Yeah, I'm done with that. I'm moving on.
Yeah. So it's funny. When I wanted to do the Red Sox podcast at first, that wasn't really working out. I think I got like maybe 3 listens on that. I was like, all right, this isn't working. So I was like, all right, I'll edit, record and edit videos, Red Sox stuff. I'll get a little more. I think I got like up to 15 views on a couple of them, and that the first video that really kind of got me hopeful was last offseason when, before the Mookie Betts and David Price got traded to the Dodgers. You probably remember there was those rumors of David Price maybe going to the Blue Jays. I don't know if you remember those rumors at all. Yeah. I did a video on that, and I was like, oh, cool. I got like 200 views on this video. Like, oh, sweet. Blue Jays fans are out there on YouTube.
Yes.
And I even posted that video. Once I noticed, I was like, oh, wow, I'm getting some views. I posted it in their subreddit. And the Blue Jays fans were so friendly in that subreddit. If you go to all these other subreddits, they're like mean. Like some of them are like, oh my God. But the Blue Jays fans, always wonderful. Always great to talk to. I always forget you're a Blue Jays fan because you're always talking so it's that when I was saying, I was like, oh, cool, AL East. I was like, oh, wait, his team is in the AL East. So so I'm pretty excited about this. So
that's good. That's good. William, I wanted to give you a shout out. Thank you for the super chat. BALLCAP, I found you through Robbie reference 2 best. Thank you, buddy. We appreciate that. Appreciate the love. Thank you for the positivity. I mean, the positivity is huge. I'm with you. When you hear so much about negative on YouTube, and when you put stuff out there and people are positive in the chat and they're positive in the comments, it really, I mean, I'm sure it does for you too, but for me, it just kind of, it really does. It's like a driving force. It's like, this is great. It's resonating. People are enjoying it. I'm going to keep doing it. And as long as people keep doing it, Wardy NYM, let's get a trio. Let's do it. Wardy NYM, let's definitely do that. That'll happen.
Especially this season. I would love that. Absolutely. Especially if we have like an AR, like a National League East game or something, like, Mets or Blue Jays or Red Sox, whatever. That'd be a great stream. Just kind of hang out and just watch the game.
I've got an idea, a big idea for, because I know Eric with Hum Baby Baseball.
Yes.
I think we could cover all 4 corners of the country and do a mega stream, and all 4 of us kind of get on and do it around, I don't know, maybe the start of the season, somewhere around there. We should, the 4 of us, we could try to coordinate that. It's tough to coordinate all 4, but for sure we get Wardy, you, me, Wardy. We'll do it. It'll be fun. Kyle, thank you for the super chat with some love for Robbie. Dude, keep it up. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle.
This is this is going to be fun. Let's dive into this. Let's do this. We are here to do a AL over under. I've been wanting Vegas to put the number out, and I'm tired of waiting. We have really the first mainstream projection for the 2021 season, and that was with Baseball Prospectus putting theirs out last week. If anybody didn't see it, I will flash it up here. We'll kind of go off of that, but basically what we'll do is I'm going to throw it out there, And I'll let you go first on the team. If you think it's going to go over, under, we can banter about it for a minute if we disagree or if we agree. World Traveler, thank you for the super chat. Yes, Hum Baby Baseball. Eric and I are going to be doing some stuff soon. I'm actually keep an eye out, everybody, because tomorrow I will be announcing the guests for next week's show are already booked. Tomorrow I will be announcing tomorrow's guest, and Eric will be one of them. So if you are in with Hum Baby Baseball and Eric, you'll see him next week. We're going to do the National League over-unders next week. So it's me and Robbie right now doing the American League. Everybody that's here, if you want us to get going, hit that like. If you want this train to leave the station, hit that like. Let's get this thing to 100 likes. We're close. I want to just do that. I want to wave goodbye to 100 likes. Hit that like. Get us over 100, and let's get this thing going. So let's pull up the we had two things today. We had postseason odds. We're not going to maybe touch on this as much, but they put out some postseason odds that we can maybe touch on. But the real piece that I wanted to hit is right here. This was the Baseball Prospectus projected American League standings. We had the Yankees looking like the runaway in the American League East, and we could start there. Yankees, 97 wins. Robbie, are they going? Could they possibly go over that, or is that maybe a little too high and it should be down a few wins? What do you think?
They're so tough to project because they could have an amazing team, or so I think that the floor for the Yankees is they're going to be a really good team, but I'm wondering how good are they going to be? You got so much upside on that team. So much. People forget you got Luis Severino coming back. You got Tyon, who was great, in his first few seasons with the Pirates. I'm interested to see what he can do. Corey Kluber, what is he going to do? There's so much upside on this team. And I think this team could be as high as like 103, 104. But then I could also see like something maybe even like 95. It's so tough. I'm going to go over. Okay. I'm going to go like, man, I don't know. Because I haven't like fully gotten into like prediction mode yet.
Right.
But I would say if I were to right now, I'm going to go 101 wins. That's what I'm thinking with the Yankees. A little better, but they're very close. I mean, this is a good number to me.
Yeah, 97. There were a few misses by Baseball Prospectus, but 97 does feel about right. I'm gonna go under, and here's why. I think that the injury bug is going to creep up again. I mean, that's hard to predict, but it keeps happening. I think the injuries are going to be a problem. I think that the Jays are going to win a couple more games. I think the Rays might win a couple more games. I think Boston could win a couple more games. Now, I think the Orioles could lose a couple more, but I think just there's going to be a little bit more there in the American League East that if you throw in the injury issues that the Yankees have had, I will say the Yankees could be under that 97 win total. Just really the injuries, and I think the rest of that division might be a little bit tougher than Baseball Prospectus has it. Let's go to the next team. Let's go to the Rays. 86 wins for Tampa. Do you like that over or under?
I'm going to stay right there. I think that's actually a perfect number. I think they're going to take a step back this year, but I still think they're going to be competitive. I actually really like the Michael Wacha signing. I liked it. I know a lot of people kind of, whatever trashed on it, but I love the Michael Wacha signing. I think if there's one team he can go to, he did show some good signs last year. But I don't know. You know the Rays. They tend to they figure something out with these guys, and he was kind of again the surface numbers weren't great, but there was some stuff there. The strikeouts went up a little bit. The walks actually went down a little bit. He just wasn't getting the results, and I like it. I mean, I love Rich Hill. I'm a Rich Hill fan because that guy was awesome with the Red Sox. He was like the one bright spot when he was on the Red Sox back in like 2015 or whatever it was. I just like some of the moves they made. Of course, it's not a sexy looking team without Blake Snell. It's not going to look great, and Charlie Morton either. But I think they're going to still be competitive. I just wonder, are they going to be able to get to break that 90 win mark? I think they're going to fall a little short. But then again, I was a little low on the Rays last year. I actually, I thought they were going to be competitive this past season, but I thought they were going to like miss the playoffs by like one game or something like that, just because of the way the season was structured,
Yeah, I mean, the postseason odds are not in their favor. You see, the FanGraphs postseason odds only has them at 18%. They've got the Red Sox at almost 50%.
Yeah,
but they've got the Rays way down there at 18%. So FanGraphs really knocked the Rays down.
Yeah.
And I think I agree with you on that number 86. Just feels right. Maybe it goes 87. Maybe it goes 85.
Yeah.
But I feel like that number is about right. Maybe if Patino steps up and he can replace the Snell numbers, maybe they can do something else. But you're putting a lot on Chris Archer. You're putting a lot on Michael Wacha. You know, you've got some kids with Honeywell and McKay that you're going to hope that. I think this year it's a good year for Toronto because I think they can get ahead of Tampa, and then Tampa might be back as that force the following year.
Yeah.
Let's get on to the next one in the East, and that is the Blue Jays, 85 and 77. I'll go first because mine's simple. I don't even need to explain it. I'm going to put them over. I think that they can push 90 wins. I think there's another pitching move that they're going to make. Now, whether it happens before the start of the season or maybe it happens during the season and there's a trade that they make, I think the Blue Jays will be a 90-win team. Do you agree with me, or am I crazy there?
No, I think they're going to go over. I'm thinking like 89, 90 wins. I think that's a good I think it's, for me, at least in my head, you know, my gut saying like 89 or 90. I mean, the offense it's completely stacked. That George Springer, just the fact that you just plug this guy at the top of the lineup. I mean, it was already a pretty deep lineup to begin with, but now you're just, oh my God. Like, I mean, people don't realize, like, I mean, you can trash on the Astros all you want, but Springer, he was the one constant last year for the Astros.
Right.
Hit a walk-off home run in the postseason. I didn't realize it was a walk-off home run in the postseason because there was no fans, and I heard no cheering when it was happening. Yeah, I'm literally watching that game, and I'm like, oh, cool, look at Springer hitting a home run. He's like jogging around the bases. I'm like, why is everyone running out of the dugout? I'm like, oh my God, it was a walk-off home run because I'm so used to that fan reaction.
Right.
But people are, you know, I mean, obviously everyone knows how talented he is, but he was one bright spot on the Astros last year. He kept them going. He got it started a lot for them last year. A huge addition. I mean, it's such a big addition for that lineup, especially a lot of these young guys. Sure, yeah, you know, he was on the trash tros, you know, but whatever. He's a veteran guy. He's always had year to year, he's always been solid. So he's going to be a great addition for that lineup. That veteran, you know, presence in that lineup too. Mm-hmm. I think it's such a win-win move. They had to spend that money to get him. Like the Blue Jays, you know, they had to. But the one thing I wonder is just the depth of the pitching. They have added some depth, and I just wonder, is it going to be enough to be like this 95 win team? You know, like
That's where there has to be a move. The rotation is not built for that because Nate Pearson is going to be on a pitch count.
Yes.
They're going to have to go and rely on Tanner Roark and Steven Matz and Robbie Ray, guys who have been inconsistent in their careers, to put it together and all be consistent. And it's just not going to happen. So they need to make another move. I know that Shapiro, just from his track record, he doesn't really want to trade prospects. Yeah. You know, he killed Alex Anthopoulos when he showed up after Anthopoulos had made all those trades to get Price and Tulowitzki, and that's, you know, that was one of the reasons why AA left town. Yeah. So there has to be some moves though, and that will mean that they may have to send a prospect to the Cubs or to the Reds to get somebody to get them there, because this rotation isn't going to get done. Now the bullpen is amazing. Love the bullpen.
I like the bullpen.
Love the bullpen. But they've got to do something more. If they want to get to 90 wins, I think they have to do something. If they want to get to 95 and try to win that division, hands down, they have to do something. And Robbie Ray has to put it together. And Nate Pearson has to be great when he's out there.
Yeah, I think they're definitely a trade deadline team to look out for. I think, you know, I think they're going to be playing well. And they just seem like they're perfectly set up for a trade deadline move. Kind of just like how the Padres were. like very similar. They have the prospects, but the thing is they have a pretty decent top 30. So they don't have to give up all these like top prospects to go get someone. They could give up some mid-tier guys.
Well, I feel like this would be the year to do it, because if you look at all of the prospects who have been dealt in these other trades, the Cubs did not get top prospects for Darvish.
Yeah.
These trades that have happened, they're really, the top prospects have been kind of sitting put, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Patino went to the Rays. That was the top prospect that was traded, and all. Even the Lindor trade, they got through that without having to give up their top prospects. They kept Beatty, they kept Mauricio, they kept the pitcher Allen. Like, they've kept everybody, and that's across the board with all these trades. So that's kind of the market. And if Toronto could have pulled something off, now would have been the time, because maybe they could have gotten Kyle Hendricks for the number 11 prospect and Randall Grichuk or something like that.
That was like such like a dream move. I mean, it sounds so crazy saying that as a Red Sox fan, like that's a dream move, but like, they just looked so perfect on paper. Like, even for the Yankees too, I thought Hendricks would have been perfect with the Yankees. Like, Garrett Cole, the number one guy, throwing just gas, throwing just nasty stuff. And then you go to a completely different pitcher, like a Kyle Hendricks in like a game 2 or whatever. Like, I know
that's what you got, and you have to do that, because if you're going up against the Yankees, and the Yankees are going to go with Cole and Severino, and maybe Kluber is throwing lights out, or Tyone is throwing lights out, like, you have to have 2 at the top to be able to compete against the White Sox. If you end up in a series against the White Sox, and you got to face Giolito and Lance Lynn, you got to have something to throw out there.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have 2 solid at the top.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and I do want to remind everybody that's in the chat, when we throw up the numbers, let us know what you think. If you think it's an over or an under situation, we're going to get to the next team, and that is Robbie's team. Ooh. We're going to talk Red Sox here. They got an 80. Now, we looked at the fan graphs. Fan graphs gave them almost a 50% chance of making the playoffs. So I got to think we're going over 80. Everybody in the chat, comment, let me know if you think it's over or under. Robbie, what say you? I got to think we're going over, right?
Before I get started, everyone, please do not call me Giraffe Neck Robbie here, okay? The bias, there's no bias here. You guys know me. I have yet to pick the Red Sox to win a World Series. So, I picked the Yankees to win the World Series last year. I picked our arch rival to win. So no one can call me Giraffe Neck Robbie. So just saying. Anyway,
gotcha.
But they're going over. Stop it. They're not winning. This is going to be a surprise team. I am telling you, there's a gut feeling I have. I think Chaim Bloom has actually done a very solid job. I was giving him a lot of crap at one point because he wasn't doing anything. And he signed Hunter Renfroe, and I was like, come on, like, let's go. Maybe I was being a little impatient at the time, but it was like, there's some other teams are doing some stuff. I mean, I think the Padres were just doing everything. And I was like, well, come on, where's our moves, But no one else was doing anything either. So maybe I was jumping the gun a little bit. But I actually really like some of the moves they've made, bringing in, a Kike Hernandez, like a Garrett Richards. I love the Kike Hernandez move. I love the Marwin Gonzalez move. I wouldn't say love, but I think it's a solid move just because when you're looking at what Chaim Bloom is doing, they are adding depth, maybe not minor league depth so much because, that's just going to take time. But the major league depth, he's actually doing a decent job at it. Yeah. He's kind of, it's not the best, not the most sexy moves, which is what everyone wants. But, he's adding these guys who, and again, there are what ifs here, like a Garrett Richards. He is a what if, and totally. But you're kind of going for that upside, kind of like the Yankees are doing. That Tyon move, the Kluber move, these are upside kind of moves. Yeah. I like it. I like that he's adding depth, but he's also just adding the flexibility as well. Guys that can move around, the Kike Hernandez, the Gonzalez, he can move. And then they got a Rouse on there. You still got Chavis on that team who can move around. They got guys who can kind of just move, and I just like the depth. I think they're better equipped this year than they were heading into 2019. 2019, you had Sale there, but it just seemed like a matter of time before that guy's arm was going to fall off. Like heading down the stretch in 2018, the guy was not effective. I mean, even in the playoffs that year, he wasn't. You just knew something was going to happen eventually with him. And so once you lost him, they had not much. They had Erod, but Evaldi was not doing good health wise. But now they actually have some options. They can turn to some things here, and they still have a very good offense. I love the Ottavino move. I love that move. I thought it was a great move. I mean, this is a guy, the expected numbers were very good with him. He still has one of the best sliders in the game. Mm-hmm. The Yankees tried making him more. They've done the same thing with guys like Sonny Gray, tried making him more of like this like kind of ground ball pitcher, where really Ottavino, his whole career, he's always worked up higher in the zone. He likes the fly balls. He gets the fly balls. Then he beats you with a slider down and away. So that's always been his game. And they tried to just make him different. And he had one bad game. Was it against the Blue Jays? That one bad game he had? They gave up like 6 runs.
They got to him. Yep, they got to him.
So yeah, his ERA is going to look like it's going to look terrible at that point. He's given up 6 runs in a short season. I mean, of course your ERA is going to look bad. So everyone sees the ERA and they're like, oh, what? Oh, awful. This is a terrible move. But no, the expected numbers were a lot better with him. I don't think he's going to be like this, Liam Hendricks kind of a closer, but I think he's going to be a really solid addition to that bullpen. Still got a lot of guys, in this bullpen that can step up and do something. Darwinson Hernandez, I'm still waiting for kind of something from him. I mean, let me pull up the bullpen real quick. You got, you still got Matt Barnes, who, he can have his struggles at times, but when you got guys around him, he can, it takes the pressure off him. I've noticed this with Barnes. If he's in 2019, they tried to make him the closer. Didn't really work very much. He's more of like a, 7th, 8th inning kind of a guy. But you got Ottavino there. Brazier was pretty good a couple years ago. They just added Hirokazu Sawamura. Love the upside of that move. This guy throws gas, and he has a splitter. The splitter is probably my favorite pitch, besides a changeup. You still got Darwinson Hernandez there. They picked up Garrett Whitlock, who I think he was a Rule 5 draft pick from the Yankees. They got potential in this bullpen. They got guys off the bench. They got some decent starting pitching depth. I mean, of course, Evaldi, Richards, they're going to have to, prove themselves health-wise, I think, over a full season. But Erod's coming back. I mean, him as well. What's he going to do? Nick Pivetta, I think this is like a guy who maybe not be on the level of a Jake Arrieta, but I think he's a guy that could turn his career around a little bit, get some more success. He still has some really good advanced numbers, especially with his pitches. And Martin Perez, whatever. Martin Perez, 5th guy, but he gets innings. He makes his starts. And Martin Perez, he brings value because he's available. He can just always start. Like, he's never hurt. He's all, I just like the depth of the team. I don't think it's amazing, but I think it's okay to where I think they're going to win. Right now, I'm thinking like 88 wins. That's kind of like that number right now. I could go higher. I could go lower next week. But that's where I'm at. They're definitely going to go higher than 80. And I understand why they would put 80 because you don't really know. But I don't know. I've watched these teams over the past years. 2013, what was their projected win total in 2013? I think they had a projected win total of like 84. Yeah. And they went on to win, like 97 games that year or something like that and won a World Series. So I've seen these kind of teams before. Ben Cherington, similar guy to Chaim Bloom, kind of just added those pieces. He added those depth pieces. Granted, Cherington did have a bit of a farm system at the time, but I like what Bloom is doing. Anyway, sorry, I've rambled so much about my rest.
It's okay. But, I there's a lot of pieces on this team that are like, I'm a big Alex Verdugo guy. I think Hunter Renfroe has some nice potential. I love Bogarts and Devers on the left side. Dalbec is one of my favorite prospects. If Chris Sale is on, he's one of the most feared pitchers in baseball. So there's a ton there that I could see getting them over that number. I think that they're maybe in 81 or 82, but we're splitting hairs, right? We're talking about 88 to 82. But yes, the Red Sox, they're going to be there. Everybody that is just hopping into the chat or just finding BALLCAP Sports for the first time tonight, make sure you subscribe, join. I like to call you guys BALLCAP Nation. Come on, join this community that I'm working to build here. Would love for you to be a part of it as we move forward. Baseball is life here on BALLCAP Sports, and we're going to keep that train rolling. Let's go to the next team, and I think we could probably hammer this one out quickly. I'm going Orioles 66. I think it's under. They lost over 100 games in 2019. The team is actually worse, and with how good the East is, I got the Orioles going under. How about you?
Let me pull that up again. It was 66.
66. And they lost 100 games in 2019. The Jays are better. The Rays are going to be good. The Yankees are good. The Red Sox were giving the Red Sox a couple more wins. I think it's like a 62-61 kind of situation for the Orioles. They really, I mean, they're hoping that Felix Hernandez and Matt Harvey work out.
Yeah, absolutely. And, one thing actually, surprisingly, let me actually pull this up really quick. Just want to make sure I have the accurate stat here. Their bullpen was actually pretty good last year. Taking a look, they had the 6th best bullpen last year, surprisingly. They actually had a decent bullpen. They got some guys in this bullpen pulling up. You got like Hunter Harvey there, Tanner Scott. They got some guys, but, obviously the bullpen's not going to be the saving grace. The kind of one thing to pay attention to with the Blue Jays, they got some young arms there. I think, it's going to be kind of a team where, fun team prospect wise to kind of take a look, Ryan Mountcastle, Anthony Santander, he's projected for some decent home run numbers. Austin Hayes, they got some younger guys here. I'm always excited about, to see if Felix Hernandez can kind of turn it around. Who knows? Maybe he figures something out in Baltimore. He can end up being like a trade deadline candidate.
Definitely.
I like the Felix Hernandez move. I thought it was a good move. I
do too. I think that is a great spot. He will go in there. He'll pitch. He's not going to have to compete for a job. And if he is pitching well, they will trade him and they will get something for him like they got for Alex Cobb. It was a great move for the Orioles. I
mean, hey, $1 million could end up maybe getting a prospect or two out of it. And, hey, win-win. I thought that was good. I don't know. You're kind of splitting hairs over a terrible team. I'll go... what was it again? 66.
Yeah.
I'll go under. Why not? Whatever.
Yeah, we got to. If we're giving, we're giving the Yankees about what they've got, maybe a little more. The Jays a little more. I got to take it from the Orioles, basically.
Yeah.
All right, let's move to the Central. If you're enjoying this over under that we're doing, make sure you hit that like. We want to get to 100. I think we're getting close, so we want to get to 100. If you're just hanging out and you haven't hit the like yet, make sure you hit that like. If you don't want to like it yet, that's perfectly fine too. If you want to wait, if you're holding out, I'm okay with that. It's all good either way. We're going to do the Central now. Let's start at the bottom this time. Let's get through Detroit. Let's go bottom up. Tigers, 67 wins. They've made some moves to be competitive. I think that they're going to actually probably finish one or two over. The Mazzara move that they've done, they've got some good young pitching with Mize and Skubal, who sort of got their feet wet with big league, with some big league approach there. They bring Scope back. I think the Tigers can maybe win a couple games over that 67. So put me down for the over for the Tigers. How about you?
Yeah, I'll go 70. I'll go 70. I think there's a decent amount of talent here. Excited to see what Casey Mize could do. Could you see Torkelson get up there at some point this year? Matt Manning, you got Skubal. Could Riley Green maybe make some kind of an appearance? Maybe a little far away, but it's this young team. Matthew Boyd. I'm always interested in Matthew Boyd because the guy can get strikeout numbers, but he just gets hit. I don't know what it is. The guy he can just throw.
He needs to change his arm angle or something. That arm angle must not be working for him. I don't know.
Gets a ton of strikeouts, but it's like, dude, what are you doing? So
get hit so bad.
Yeah. If you're looking at the lineup, it's still funny seeing Miguel Cabrera right there.
I know, right?
Sitting right there, kind of just doing whatever. I don't know. You got some, the lineup is it's whatever. I actually like the Robbie Grossman move. I think he's pretty solid. Could he maybe be someone that ends up getting moved? I don't know.
Could be. Could be.
They just signed him. What was it? Was it a 2-year deal that they signed him to?
Well, Grossman could get dealt. I think it was 2. Scope could get dealt because that's a 1-year deal. Like they could definitely move some pieces here. But with what they've put together, I do think that they could be about a 70-win team. Willie Castro is underrated. Nico Goodrum and Willie Castro are both they're decent. So, I think that they've got enough pieces to win a couple more games.
Yeah.
Let's go Kansas City. This one's interesting because they just do the Benintendi move. They have done a lot. And is it enough to get them sort of pushing that 500 level? I don't think it is. I worry about the pitching ultimately with the Kansas City Royals here. What do you think?
You know, I love this, what the Royals are doing. I love it. I love their offseason. It was fantastic. I mean, like, I just love that it was a small market team and they just went out and made moves, you know, not championship winning kind of moves, but man, they went out there and they're like, you know, we're going to take care of our fans. We're at least going to bring in some guys. We're going to try and put a competitive team out there. Sure. Yeah. White Sox, Twins, even the Indians probably ahead of us, but I just like some of the moves they made. I mean, of course, I'm a Benintendi fan. I would have been okay with hanging on to Benintendi. But I actually think he fits that ballpark better. Kaufman is a lot better for those kind of hitters, gap hitters. Benintendi's not a power hitter. That's what he tried to be, 2019. He tried to, lift the ball a little more, try to add a little weight, try to get a little more power. But that's not what he is. And I think he realized that. He started losing weight this past offseason, started working on that agility a little bit more. He's going to give you solid defense out there, but he's a gaps kind of a guy. He's a line drive guy. He's not a home run guy. And Kaufman is actually a great place for that. So I think his bat actually fits pretty well over there. And I think he's going to end up being pretty good with them. But I do really, maybe I'm being a little biased with the Royals because I actually relied on some of their pictures this past season in fantasy and it paid off in a few starts. A couple I got dinged, but Brady Singer, I'm excited to see what he can do. I do like me some Brad Keller as well. I think Mike Minor, he could end up being like a mid-4 kind of an ERA kind of a guy. Chris Bubic. I love that three, the Singer, Bubic, and Keller. I love those three young guys. You got some talent in the minor leagues there. I love Greg Holland, him coming back. You got some other and Wade Davis as well. What's he going to do? I like it. I do like some of the pieces in the lineup. Let me pull up the lineup here. Again, Benintendi, you got Soler. I love the Carlos Santana move. Still got Whit Merrifield. I like Salvador Perez. You brought in Michael Taylor, who still I think could be a decent dynamic kind of a player. Nothing amazing, but I think he, could make some stuff happen here and there at the bottom of the order. There's some pieces here. There's some pieces. And again, I don't think they're going to be like, this playoff team, but I think it's a fun team. I'm going to go over. I'm going to go 80 wins. I'm going to go 80 and 82. That's what I'm going with the Royals.
There is always, I feel, a team that just kind of comes out of nowhere sometimes.
Yeah.
And is Kansas City that team? And is this that year that they're the team that sort of comes out of nowhere and is like, oh, they're good.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
They have the pieces to do it. With Salvador Perez, with Carlos Santana, I like Nicky Lopez. Whit Merrifield's one of my favorite players in baseball. Adalberto Mondesi, if he's healthy and has the speed and the power, he could be unbelievable. If Benintendi finds it and gets it together there, you throw in the pop from Soler. They've got the pieces to surprise. I worry about the pitching holding up through the season. Singer maybe being on a pitch count, Bubic being on a pitch count. What are you going to get from Duffy? What are you going to get from Minor? I think that will be the one piece that holds them back. I wouldn't be surprised to see 80. So what was our number? Our number was 71. I'll go over. I'm going to put him at 75. I'll put him at 75. And I think that but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a stretch where they're like 25 and 21 and everyone's like, oh, wait, the Royals. But I think it'll even out.
Yeah. Like I think this team could be one of those teams that just gets hot at one point. Kind of like that, those Moneyball A's, like,
right.
Maybe not that great of a stretch, but like just get hot,
You pull the pieces together, right? You pull pieces together from different because Santana's new, Nicky Lopez is young.
Yeah.
Let's see. Benintendi's new to the team. Taylor's new to the team. Soler, this is going to be his. Well, I mean, we're counting 2020, so it'll be his third year with the team. You got McBroom and O'Hearn are young. They could surprise.
Yeah.
Let's look at the White Sox. This surprised me. I'm over 83 by a lot. Quite frankly, I think that the White Sox are going to win the Central. And, I would actually put the White Sox probably at about 10 more wins than this. This is to me the biggest the one that I'm the biggest on, right? In terms of the difference. Everybody in the chat, let me know what you guys think. We got a lot of way overs here. I'm way over. Again, I'm 10 wins over. I'm at 93. I feel like they forgot that they had Lance Lynn and that they had a deep rotation to begin with. So what do you think? I like what they've done. I like the pieces they add. They add Hendricks, so the back of that bullpen is solid. The bullpen itself is going to be good. Rotation, lineup, power, speed, bat. They've got everything. I'm going 93. How about you?
I understand me personally, I understand why maybe they put this number. The one thing about the White Sox, again, you just kind of listed it all off. I love the top of the rotation there. Offense is fantastic. Solid bullpen. They had a good bullpen last year. Now Colomé is on the way out. Hendricks is coming in. You got Garrett Crochet for a full year. Interested to see what he could do. That's one guy I think could be a breakout kind of a guy. Broke out a little bit this past year. Not a big sample. However, the one thing I do worry about with the White Sox is that starting pitching depth. That's the one thing. It's not deep. You go
top three is good. The top three. I like Cease.
Yes.
So I like Giolito, Keuchel, Lynn, Cease.
Yeah, love that.
Lopez, you want nothing to do with Lopez.
Yeah.
You gotta see and you gotta see what you have with Kopech, right? That's what they need. Kopech becomes the X factor here. If he can be in that number 5 spot and be good for them, then they're good. But if they go through the year and they have a problem with that 4-5, then that'll spiral on them real quick.
Right. A long season. That's the one thing. If you get this team in the playoffs, that's not going to be a fun team to play. It's not. Absolutely not. It's that long season when you get to August, that dog days of summer, I think this is a team that trust me, I love this team. Fantastic. I mean, the offense, let me just pull. I'm a visual guy. I got to look at this offense. But, I mean, come on. Tim Anderson, Grandal, Abreu, MVP, Jimenez. Matt, I love Madrigal. Madrigal is fantastic. I love these guys where I could care less if they don't hit home runs. They just get hits. They get on base. Fantastic. So young. He's 24. And the guy he's just a professional. He reminds me like a Craig Biggio in a way, just gets hits and gets on base. But that's the one thing. I'm big on depth, man. I said that word probably a million times in my streams. That's because I know about those dog days. I saw my 2011 Red Sox on the newspapers, the best team ever, and they faded down the stretch. Yeah. They had no depth. What happens if Lance Lynn goes down? What happens if something happens to him? Just strains an oblique here and there. Those little kind of nitpicky kind of injuries. I'm not saying his arm's going to fall off, but what if he has something weird like that happen? Kopech. I mean, I think Kopech has the potential to be a breakout guy. Obviously, this stuff is amazing. Yeah. But what's he going to do? Where's he been? I mean, he's had the off the field. I hope he's doing okay and everything. You just don't know. I mean, Giolito, I'm already leaning towards him as a Cy Young guy. That guy gave me a perfect game in fantasy or no hitter in fantasy this past year.
I love that.
I got 50 points from that. I will always love Lucas Giolito. He could get an 8.5 ERA this year. I'll still love Lucas.
And you'll ride with him. He's your ride or die.
The top of the rotation is fantastic. I just wonder about the starting pitching depth because it's a long season. I've seen those teams where they faded down the stretch. So I do know where they got this number from, but I do think they're going to be better. I think they'll figure it out, and I think I'm going to go. I think they'll hit 90. I think they'll hit at least 90.
Okay. So we go 90 on the White Sox. Again, hit that like if you are down with the White Sox winning 90 plus. Hit that like. Let's get that. We're close to 100. I think we're like 10 likes away. If there's anybody in here, we got about 115 people hanging out. Thank you. I appreciate you guys being here. If you haven't hit the like yet, hit that like. Let's get it to 100. You could be the ones that get us to 100. And again, if you don't want to, we had this the other day. I asked for likes. I got a couple dislikes. So if you don't want to give the like, again, it's perfectly fine. It's all good. Hold on to it. Keep it in your pocket. But if you're enjoying this, do hit the like. And again, if you just find the stream for the first time tonight, make sure you subscribe and join this community that we're building. We're moving on to the top of the Central now. Indians 86. They're still going to be tough. That rotation is good, but I think that they're just going in the wrong direction with the bats. Still having J-Ram is big, but Santana's gone. Lindor is gone. Do they get some of the young kids up quick and replace that? Do the pieces they got for Lindor, is that good enough? I don't know. I think 86 is going to be tough. I'm basically going to take some of the White Sox wins from Cleveland, and I'm going to say Cleveland is more around an 81, 82 win team. So I'm going to take a slight under. How about you?
Yeah, I'm going to agree. It was 86. Yeah, I'm going to say I actually think that White Sox number is a little more fitting for the Indians. I think like 83, maybe like 82, 84 wins, somewhere in that range. This Indians team, so I made this mistake last year with the Rays. I saw the Rays. I didn't like the lineup very much with the Rays. I didn't like how they had some pieces, but I just wondered if they were going to be able to flow enough. And that was my thing with the Rays. I was hating on the Rays. I was hating a little bit, but once they got to the World Series, that lineup was just such like a home run happy team, solo home run or die kind of a thing. And what I was saying before the season, that ended up becoming true in the World Series. I thought maybe it would keep them out of the postseason just because it was such a short season. And I thought they would just miss just because of the circumstances. But I kind of wonder with this Indians team, the pitching is still very good. I love the pitching. Yeah. Still got Bieber right there. I like Plesac. Tristan McKenzie's interesting. I mean, I wish the guy would eat a hamburger. Please add some weight, Tristan McKenzie, please. They're very talented. I love Karinchak at the back end of the bullpen. I like Cal Quantrill. I think this is a guy that could be like a solid 4 if he stays in the bullpen or whatever. Getting Emmanuel Clace back, I think that's going to be a decent addition to that bullpen. The guys in the minors, they don't really have a lot of guys that are very close. So that was the one thing with the Rays. They had guys who could jump into the major leagues and contribute. Now, the Indians don't have that so much. So, but again, this is going to be a pretty good defensive team. I like defense. I'm a little biased towards defense. You got Andres Jimenez if he ends up starting, Cesar Hernandez at second. I mean, you got Roberto Perez down year offensively this past year, but still one of the better catchers defensively. They're very solid up the middle. I love the defense up the middle. And, they still got some guys. I mean, you got Franmil Reyes, who's going to give you some power. They've been bringing Eddie Rosario. I thought that was okay. Not a big fan of the on base, but he can give you some power. Jose Ramirez, my personal MVP. I'm sorry, White Sox fans, but I just love Jose Ramirez this past year. And Josh Naylor too. Josh Naylor reminds me of like a Prince Fielder. I do like this Indians team. I just wonder if they're going to have enough guys to. I think minor, not just depth on the major league team, but I like a little bit of minor league depth too. Guys that can kind of come up and, help down the stretch during those dog days of the summer. Do the Indians have that? I don't know.
Well, I'm a fan of Nolan Jones.
Yeah.
And I think he will play this season. He was at AA and then he didn't get to play. There was no minor league season last year. He probably would have been at AAA last season.
Yes.
The grades that he gets, a 60 power, 60 hitting, love that. Right. And that's from Baseball America. I trust Baseball America with my life. I love what they have him as and how he's performed. So I think Nolan Jones is the piece we're talking about. Can they get some pieces up to replace that Lindor production?
Yes.
If they bring Nolan Jones up to third, they move J-Ram to, second or short. I mean, they can move some pieces around and maybe Nolan Jones is ready to go. I don't know. It will. And Bobby Bradley is still there. I don't know. I think we're kind of giving up on Bobby Bradley at this point. I don't know what's going to happen.
Bobby Bradley is got a thunder stick, man.
I know.
Jesus. That is,
he does.
Dude, holy cow. The guy can hit the ball a mile. That's another one too. I actually had him as I did a video last off season, potential like breakout guys, and I had him on that list. So who knows? Maybe he could break out this year. Maybe I was
and that would be it. If they have a Bradley breakout, Jones makes his way up. You got J-Ram in there. It could be good. Let's go to this top team in the Central, and that's the Twins. They have them at 91 wins. I think the Twins to do that, they need to go get Jaco DeRizzi back or sign Taijuan Walker. I think they need one more piece for that rotation. So I'm going to knock the Twins down to maybe 89. So I'm going to go under slightly because I don't love the pitching. The hitting should be back. They get Cruz back. They let Rosario go, but they're going to have the kid come up. I'm blanking on his name right now, Krylov. So
Yes.
they'll be able to replace him. That production, I think the offense should be fine. I worry about the pitching. If they make a move and get that pitching depth in order, then yeah, sure. I think they can get to 91 wins, but I'm going to knock them down a couple wins, maybe to 89. Where do you have them?
I have a lot of emotions about the Twins. I picked them to go to the World Series this past year. I went for it, and I was like, you know what? This is the year. If there's one year the Twins can get by the Yankees, this is it. This weird year, this is going to be it, and then they lose. And it's like, I hate everything. But I like the number. I like this number. I actually think is this number going to win the division? I don't know, but I actually like the number for this team. I like this. I still like this team as much as I want to hate this team because they have screwed me time and time again. I still love the lineup. I mean, you got Donaldson, Cruz, Kepler. I just want this team to stop being such like a live off of the home run kind of a team. I want more flow. I want more rallies. I want more doubles. I want more hit and runs. I want this. I like offenses that can just do so many different things. And this lineup has the potential. You got the speed with Buxton. Sure. You got the power with Cruz. You got an all-around bat like Donaldson. You got a guy like Kepler who can get on base.
Yeah. The offense is great. The offense is wonderful.
Yes, and I am waiting for that Jose Barrios breakout. I'm waiting for it. It's not.
They need that.
We're ever going to get it.
That's the key. If Maeda does the same thing he did last year, if Barrios breaks out, if Pineda can be all right, if Hap can keep his arm from falling off. I don't know if I'm a believer in Dobnak. If you look at his game log last year, he pitched well against the Royals and the Tigers, and he pitched bad against the White Sox and the Cardinals, right? So he was a matchup guy. So I worry about Hap. I worry about Dobnak. I don't know what you don't know what you're gonna get from Pineda. So they really need Barrios to step up and have that breakout. It's there. I think he could do it.
Yeah. And they're waiting on it. I like Dobnak a little bit. I kind of just like these guys that, I don't know. I was always such a big fan of Greg Maddux. I'm not saying Randy Dobnak is Greg Maddux, but he kind of has that similar sort of, he doesn't throw very hard. He relies on the location, movement, kind of mixing around the locations. He had some decent baseball savant, the nerdy numbers. He did have some decent numbers. Didn't give up a lot of hard or a lot of barrels. He didn't walk a lot of guys. I like guys that don't walk a lot of batters. I like
of course.
Sure. So that's why he kind of in a way reminds me of like a Greg Maddux. No one's ever going to be like Greg Maddux. Greg Maddux, besides if Pedro Martinez was never around, Greg Maddux would probably be my favorite pitcher of all time. But anyway, I digress. But there were some things I liked about Dobnak. I'm wondering, how effective is he going to be this year? I don't know. I like the addition of Colomé. I mean, I think it was fine for the bullpen. Again, he's not going to strike out a lot of guys, but he finds a way to get the job done. Still got Taylor Rogers out there. Yep. So who knows how they're going to do that because it's almost like a platoon in a way.
It's a committee. It's totally going to be a committee. I'm surprised Colomé did that because there are other teams that need closers.
Yeah.
But, the Twins are closer to winning. So that's maybe the move. Because Colomé, right, he's not going to be the guy. He's not the closer. He's going to share time with Rogers. It was that great move for the Twins, an interesting move for Colomé.
Yeah, I think, it's in a way it's kind of like a bullpen by committee in my head, but it's almost like I said the word like platoon. I almost think Rogers. It depends. Like I think certain situations they're going to use these guys, like kind of like how they would use like an Andrew Miller, to putting him into different spots, so I think that's how they're going to kind of use it. Sure. I like the win total for this team. Is it going to be enough to win the division? I don't know, but I'm okay with that number. I'm okay with that. But I know one thing for sure. I am not picking the Twins to win the World Series. I'm done with the Twins forever.
There you go.
I'm never, ever picking the Twins to win the World Series. And you know what's going to happen? I'm not going to pick them, and they're going to win the whole thing this year.
Right. So that's how it works.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the West. Let's talk about the Rangers. We'll go bottom up again. Rangers, 67 wins. The Rangers are to me, kind of an interesting team. I, as a Blue Jays fan, have just angst running through my body over the Rangers just from the playoffs and the Odor thing. So I have a hard time talking kindly about the Rangers. However, I will say this. I love the David Dahl signing. I think that was a great move. And I think the kid that they got from Tampa, Lowe, I think he's actually Lowe.
Yes.
I think he's going to hit. I think they're going to hit a ton of home runs.
Yes.
They're going to have a hard time maybe with their batting averages, but I think they're going to hit a ton of home runs. 67 wins. Maybe that's the number. I'm going to go, just looking at the rest of the West, Seattle's going to lose, I think, maybe more than that. So I'll give Texas maybe 1 or 2 over. I'll go 69 for Texas just because of they're going to hit a ton of home runs. Where do you fall with the Rangers?
Yeah, I think it's a safe number. I think that's good. 69 sounds about right. Maybe 70. I don't know. I wonder, does this team? Maybe I gave a lot of crap to the GM for the Rangers. Not getting rid of Lance Lynn at the trade deadline.
Oh yeah, that was. It worked out. They got Dane Dunning. It ended up working out for him.
Yes, thank God it did, because I was screaming at John Daniels on my streams. Like, literally, I was losing my mind. I don't even know why. But, thank God they got at least something for him. I like the Nate Lowe signing. Who's the other guy they brought in?
Dahl.
I wanted the Red Sox to bring him in. This guy's got some decent stuff. I'm wondering how his stuff is going to play here in the major leagues. I think that could end up being a pretty low key, decent signing for them.
Right.
I feel like I'm going blank on another guy. Who is the other guy they brought in?
They've signed Dahl, Fultonevich, Holt. They signed Delano DeShields Jr. They brought him back.
Oh, that's right.
They have, Charlie Culberson from the Braves. They have not re-signed Chu, who I think is underrated as anything. He's good. That's everyone I've got. Did they make a trade that I'm not thinking of?
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of them plugging in Kiner Falefa at short.
Yeah,
pretty interested in him. Not the best projected numbers for him, but he's shown some things over the last couple of years. Kind of interested to see what he can end up being. He's only 26 years old. So
yeah,
I like this Rangers team. Do I think they have the potential to be like the surprise team?
Chris Davis, it's in the chat. Brian and a few others. They brought in
Chris Davis. Yes, Chris Davis. I love the Chris Davis move. I thought that was great. I knew there was someone. Dang, that was driving me nuts. But like you said, a lot of home runs. I think this team could. The problem is the pitching. They got power for days.
Yep.
Which, when I think of the Texas Rangers, that sounds about right. You got some power.
Right. Yep.
But I wonder about the pitching. Looking at the rotation, I mean, you got guys like Kyle Gibson, Jordan Lyles, Dane Dunning. I think could be pretty good. Ari Hara. I think just the starting pitching is just not there yet.
Nope.
Who knows if they maybe get it together? Put something together. I don't know. Maybe they could do something, but I think right now 69-70 wins sounds about right to me.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where they'll be. Dunning could end up being the number one by the end of the year.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at Seattle. 70 for Seattle. This is where I'm going to basically flip-flop Seattle and Texas. I think Seattle, we're not there yet. I think that maybe by the end of the year, Kalinick comes up and maybe you start to see some of the kids, but I think that they're going to be another year off. In 2022, they'll start to make that rise. So I'm going to put them down a couple spots just because I don't think they're there yet. And I think it's going to be a while, till later in the year till we see the young, talented guys get the call. What do you think on Seattle? 70 over or under?
I'm going to go over. I'm a believer in the Mariners this year.
All right.
I don't know. I'm probably crazy, but God, I just like this team. I love the starting pitching. The starting pitching was very underrated last year. They ranked very well. They were a top 10 starting pitching staff last year.
They have all lefties except for Justin Dunn, right? Gonzalez, Sheffield, Kikuchi, and Paxton. It's a bunch of lefties.
Yes, it's and bringing in Paxton I thought was great. How do you pronounce? Who was the famous broadcaster for the Mariners? Dave Niehaus.
Dave Niehaus.
Yeah, Dave Niehaus. That was it.
My oh my.
Yes, maybe I'm just still God. That Ken Griffey slide into home plate. That's one of my favorite. Like I didn't watch it live, but like I'll still go pull up that clip. You know, maybe that's why I have like a funny spot for the Mariners. I don't know what it is. Like I have a warm spot for them. I'm waiting for that year. You know, I want to see a feel good season for the Mariners just once, and they were starting to get pretty close this past year. Again, short season, weird season, but they were right there at the end. Like the last week, I think they were within like 3 games of that 8th spot. Which, granted, that doesn't really mean anything in any other year, but I do like some of the pieces they have. I like the Rafael Montero coming in. I think he can end up being a decent closer for them. I love Paxton coming back. I think that's a great story. You know, and good for the Mariners. They absolutely won that trade now because
everyone's on the team.
They got everybody. They got him back.
Yep.
So and now they still got. So it's funny how you traded Paxton and you got Justice Sheffield back, and now they're both in the same rotation. So I think that's pretty funny. You got Marco Gonzalez, like you were saying, all lefties. I'm kind of wondering if Dunn could end up being something. You know, he's not going to be this hard throwing guy, but you know, a guy that can kind of move the pitches around, got some movement on some of those pitches. I like some of the pieces in this lineup. You know, I always like Kyle Seager. I always think he's solid. But Kyle Lewis, Rookie of the Year. Right now, Fangraphs is projecting him for a 313 on base, which I think is a little. I don't know. I don't agree with that. I think he's a good on base guy. I'm a big fan of Evan White, especially defensively. I'm wondering if he can maybe step it up and add some. They're projecting him for a good power number this year, 25 home runs. Ty France, I actually thought that was a pretty underrated piece they brought back in that trade with the Padres. You know, I like it. The bullpen is a little I mean, kind of wondering. I like Montero, but are these other guys going to step up? I think this team has potential, I think, to be right there. Like maybe like kind of the same situation as this past year. 2 weeks out, like, wow, the Mariners are 4 games out. Like, what's going on? You know, and, you know, you got people believing, and then they can go in next season, you know, like, all right, okay, we won like 85 games this past year, 84 games. All right, let's do it. Like, come on. This is, you know, they could be like that team where they set themselves up, you know, this year, have a good year, and then they got already just a plate. Now, then they can just add guys, you know, kind of just like the Padres, where it's different situation, but the Padres already had just such like a good base, and then they just started adding guys on top. I think the Mariners could have a similar thing. You got some good young guys there. Kellenic, I think, should be here at some point this year.
Yeah, he's got to get the call. He was at Double-A last year. He would have been at Triple-A. He's going to make an appearance. Just when does he make an appearance, and how is he playing? Because that's going to be a big piece. Big shout out. Thank you, Reed Williams, for the super chat. In my opinion, AJ Puck is the next Randy Johnson. He's got the slider as well as the hair. I like that, Reed. I like that. And you know what? For the super chat, but just because you did that, we are going to go to the A's next. Let's do that. To close the book on Seattle, I think I kind of agree with you. That soft spot for Seattle, I want to see Kellenic get up there. And once that's happening and that's all coming together, I think we'll probably be in lockstep on Seattle when it gets to that point. But that is the piece about this, is the rest of that West.
Yes.
The A's are going to be tough. The Angels should be tough. Will they get to 87? We'll talk about that in a minute. Houston, who knows? Houston was under 500 last year, right? Now, it was a shortened season, but they finished under 500. Let's talk about Oakland first, though. And I do like, I'm a big fan of AJ Puck and Jesus Luzardo. I worry about throwing AJ Puck out there right away. I would actually like Oakland to go get and have another starter so that Puck isn't, thrown right into it because of the troubles he's had. 80 wins for Oakland. I'm going to go over. Yeah. I'm going to flip it. I'm going to go 82 and 80, maybe a couple wins more if Houston falters. which spoiler alert, I'm going to have them come down a little bit. I'm going to go a couple games over for Oakland. And if that's the case, that's the hard thing about the over-unders here. If they're over, depending on what part of the year, if they're close, they make some moves. If Oakland makes some moves, if they're competitive, they can go for the division. But just what they've got now, how it's set up now, I'm going to go over by a few games for Oakland, over enough to keep them competitive to where they maybe make some moves during the season to go beyond. Where do you have them?
I got them over. I still like this Oakland team. I think when you just think of how big of a loss Liam Hendricks was for the bullpen, that's big. But at the same time, Oakland has found just ways. They're like the Rays. They're just they find ways to plug guys in. They just seem to find a way to stay competitive every single year. And I think a lot of people are kind of maybe giving up a little on the A's, but this is still a really solid team. You still got
totally.
I mean, I think Chapman is honestly one of my favorite players in the entire game. I love Chapman. Olsen, you still got so much power with those two. Laureano, Kana. I mean, you are losing. You did trade away Chris Davis, but I thought
he was kind of. I feel like Chris Davis might be on the decline. Like he's got to go try to get it back together. I think he's on. I think he's on the decline.
I think it was that trade was a classic, bad situation or change of scenery for change of scenery kind of a thing. Where all right, let's flip flop these guys. Hey, if it works out for you, great. If it works out for us, hey, great. So, but they each had a need, so it worked out perfectly. Some prospects went back and forth. The A's, got a couple of prospects out of that. But I like the lineup still. There's a ton of power in this lineup still. The bullpen, I'm curious to see. I like, they brought in Romo. That's going to help solidify the bullpen.
Let me throw this one out there to you. What do you think about Trevor Rosenthal going to Oakland? Like, they're talking about Rosenthal with the Mets, talking about Rosenthal with the Blue Jays. I don't know why he would go to either of those destinations. Mm-hmm. Both of those teams have closers. Oakland could be in the mix, and they don't have a closer. Trevor Rosenthal. You're not watching, but if someone can snip this to him and send it to him, Trevor Rosenthal, go to Oakland.
Yeah, he was just right there. He was. How far is San Diego from Oakland? I don't know. I think it's actually
It's a few hours. It's a few hours. You get on a plane, be there in about an hour.
Yeah. I think that'd be great. It's so funny. You still got these guys still out there and pitchers and catchers. They're going tomorrow.
I know.
So still got Odorizzi. Odorizzi, I think, what a bad offseason for Odorizzi and his agent.
Yeah, they messed this up. They should have signed right after Bauer. They should have had all of those, irons in the fire and been ready to go right after that Bauer signing.
It's funny with Odorizzi. I don't know what it is with him. What I was seeing people were like, Odorizzi would be a great number 2 in a rotation. I never looked at Odorizzi like that. Like when I watch him, I'm like, okay, it's fine. I like Odorizzi. It's all right. But I kind of think they were looking for a little much, I think. I thought, 3 years, like 40 million was kind of like, sounds right. But I don't think a lot of teams think he's even that.
Right.
I wonder what he's going to end up doing. Could you see Odorizzi go to Oakland, like on like a 1-year deal or something?
I think that would be Oakland should just Oakland do a 1-2 punch. Go get Odorizzi, go get Rosenthal, and go out there and try to win 90 games. I mean, I would love to see Puck. I'm a believer in Puck.
Yeah,
but I think that Puck's going to be on a pitch count. Right.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
He had a shoulder injury, and
he's coming off the shoulder injury. He's going to be on a pitch count. Don't blow him out. Don't put him in a position to overextend himself.
Yeah.
Have him be a spot starter. Have him be like a number 6 guy in that rotation. Have him split time between bullpen and rotation. Keep his innings manageable. And you can do that if you have somebody like Jake Odorizzi inserted into that lineup. Now, I know they brought Fires back. You got Luzardo, Bassett, Montas, and Manaea. So maybe Puck is already there. But, I just feel like they could use one more piece, and maybe Odorizzi is a little too high. Maybe Odorizzi is a little too much. Maybe it's somebody down the list on starting pitchers that are still available.
Yeah,
but Rosenthal to Oakland makes all the sense in the world to me.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes sense on paper. Again, with Oakland, it's the money. Do they want to spend the money? Rosenthal, he's probably going to cost you at least $8 million. What did Yates get? He got 5.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I would
and
imagine Rosenthal.
Yates is coming off injury, right? Yates is coming off injury. He needed to pass that physical. That was a big physical.
So I would imagine Rosenthal would get at least like 7, 8. Like at least, because he was gangbusters this past year. He was great.
Back.
I could still see him even getting like a $7-8 million deal, if it's like 2 years, and even like incentives put in there as well. Just because he still is not too very far away from that Tommy John he had. So,
right.
But on paper, that'd be great. It'd be amazing. Yeah. But will they spend the money? No, they tend not to, unfortunately.
That's the question. So where are we on Oakland? I'm over a couple games. I don't remember. Were you over a couple games or were you under?
I'll go as of right now. I could this is one of those teams I'm gonna have a hard time putting a number on. I'll go 88, right?
Okay.
Now.
Good. I like that. All right, so let's go to the Angels. 2 left. Angels, 87 wins. I'd love to see it. I really would. I think if 87 wins is going to happen, I think that means Ohtani is pitching well. I think the Cobb deal has worked out for them. I think Quintana works out for them. You got Rendon. You got Trout. I'd love to see 87. I'd love to see the Angels making a push for it. I will go. I'm actually going to leave. I'm going to go. I'm going to pick one. I'm going to pick over or under. I'm going to go over. I want the Angels. I'm just going to try to karma this thing in, get them over, get Mike Trout in the playoffs. Give me over. I'm going to have them pushing 89, 90 wins.
Yeah. God, this team is so frustrating.
I know.
To me, this is one of those teams. This is going to be so weird to say, but I'm like, they had a decent offseason, but just because of the fact I still in a way consider this team a loser this offseason, because it's like, this is fine. Like the moves you're making, like, but where is the move? Yes, you got Rendell, but the offense is fine. I mean, that's great. You brought in Rendon, not so long ago. You got Trout long term, but where is the picture? Where's the pitching? You couldn't bring Bauer in. Why couldn't you get that done? I understand Bauer probably thought, well, okay, the Dodgers.
Well, the Callaway thing. You had the Callaway.
That too.
I on there. I mean,
about that. God, I would get rid of Callaway just to bring in Bauer. Just whatever.
That's what I'm saying. If I'm the Angels and if I could get Bauer or Callaway, I'm like, bye, Mickey.
Yeah, like piss off. Like get out of here. Like no, we want. Right. No, we need a guy. Callaway, go home. Anyway, I digress. But they just haven't made. I don't know what it is with the Angels with pitching. What is with this team, like this organization over the last?
I don't know how they can't do it.
They can't bring in a pitcher. What is going on? Like, is it their it has to be something philosophical, like something where they have like a view. The owner is probably like, nope. We're not going to spend money on a pitcher. I'll spend money on these guys that can play every day. But no, every 5th day, no, I'm not paying him that much money. It has to be something like that, because I mean, who wouldn't want to go play with Mike Trout? Why? How? How do you? Obviously, I mean, Cole was talking with the Angels. I mean, the Yankees. I mean, he had a bit of a connection with the Yankees for God knows how long. He's a fan of the Yankees growing up. So anyway, but they can't. For years. Who's the best pitcher they've brought in? C.J. Wilson. Back in 2010 or whatever it was.
That was a long time ago. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I liked him with the Rangers, but I think it's the best guy they've brought in. I can't think of another guy, but Ohtani was supposed to be this guy, this transcendent kind of a player. But is Ohtani going to be I don't know. It just seems like the guy gets hurt every time he throws a baseball.
There's an issue there. There's an issue.
So are you going to keep him as a pitcher? What are you going to do? Okay. So getting back to just the Angels, I still like this team. I think this team. What was it again? 87 wins?
Yeah, 87. I'm barely going over. And that's just a offering to the baseball gods to try to get them to the playoffs.
I don't know what it is. I like the Iglesias trade. I like bringing him in. I just like defense. I'm a little biased for good defense. But the rotation, it's a bunch of threes. Bundy, I don't think is a 1. I think Bundy is. I think Bundy's personally a good 3. I think he's like a 2.5, because you don't know what else he's going to, he's had one good short season. Cobb, it's like, okay. Griffin Canning, I actually am a little higher on. I think Canning could end up being like a breakout guy. I like the Iglesias move. I thought that was good for the bullpen. They've made good moves. It's not that I don't like the offseason. I just still, in a way, consider them a loser this offseason just because
they didn't get a big name.
They haven't made that move, to really, like this AL West, we're talking AL West right now, but it's wide open. Like, I think this AL West is, very open. That's why I'm like even thinking, like, could the Mariners shock the world and win this division? Like, it's open. So that's why I think the Angels have a chance to win this division. Right now, I'm gonna stick with what they got. 87 wins. That sounds about like right now. It's like it's not the best record out there, but it's fine. That's where I'm at. I'm gonna stay.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna leave the Angels there at 87. I'm gonna go a couple wins over, but again, that's just an offering up to the baseball guides to try to get Mike Trout into the playoffs. Let's go to Houston. 93 is the number. Houston loses George Springer. They should be getting Justin Verlander back at some point, you would think, during the season. They had Valdez and Javier really step up last year. Bullpen is solid. The bats, what's Altuve going to do? Bregman and Correa are coming back. They need to go get Jackie Bradley Jr. is what they need to do. He needs to be their center fielder. Put him in there with Tucker and Brantley and have Alvarez DH, and the team will be complete. I'm going to say that they will feel the loss of George Springer. Yep. I think they bounce back. They will be a 500. They'll be above 500. Last year, I think they struggled. There was a lot of there were too many distractions last year, right? Then they struggled during the regular season, and they got it together for the playoffs. So I think they're still a winning team. I think they will be again in that West. They could win the West, or they could be in a dogfight with the Angels and the A's. So, but I'm going to go under. I'm going to say the Astros are about a 90-win team because I think they'll miss Springer. They haven't replaced him. If they go get Jackie Bradley Jr., that doesn't quite replace him, but it would be better than Miles Straw or Chaz McCormick. So those upgrades there. I mean, so give me 90 for Houston. Everybody in the chat, let me know what you think. Over or under 93? I'm going to go under by a little bit. Robbie, which way are you going to go?
I'm going to go, man. I don't see 93. I don't see that. Yep. That's how, like, again, wide open this division is going to be. I really think I still like the starting pitching. If we take a look at the starting pitching, I love Greinke. Greinke's one of my favorite players because the guy's personality is just fantastic. I just love dry humor, and Zach Greinke is just all the dry humor in the world, and I love it. But Framber Valdez showed a lot last year. Lance McCullers Jr. Still think that's a pretty solid 3-4. Jose Urquidy, I still think could be decent. I like Christian Javier last year. I thought he was pretty good. The bullpen brought in Pedro Baez. Ryan Presley, I still think is more of a setup guy, but I think he has this. Ryan Presley reminds me like a Matt Barnes in a way, like a better Matt Barnes. I just wonder if he's more of like a setup guy, but I think he can be a closer. He definitely gets the strikeouts. So Blake Taylor is going to be an interesting one. You brought in Steve Cishek too. Can he turn into anything? You brought in Ryan Stanek. Could be decent. There are some guys. I mean, again, the lineup. It's weird when you look at this lineup without Springer, and it's like, I know it just if even when you're not even thinking of George Springer, you just look at the lineup, not even thinking about Springer. You just think like something just feels empty. Like about this, I don't know what it is.
He's been the heart and soul. He's been there for so long. I mean, the whole rise, he was there for the rise. And
but just like looking at it as it is right now, like let's say Springer just didn't even exist. I just look at the lineup and I'm like, something just feels missing, like just something. And again, yes, that is Springer, but I just wonder, Altuve, are you going to get back to doing what you're doing? You know, you got the buzzers are gone now, Jose. You know, what are you going to do? Are you going to get back to, you know, being is even getting back to the right phrase? Are you going to be this, you know, hitter without the trickery? What are you going to do? Bregman, I still think he can still bring it. You know, it's Fangraphs. I actually really like the projection they got for Bregman, like a 31 home run season, 278, 389 on base. That sounds about right for him. I think you're going to see him get back to his, you know, decent form. Brantley, on base guy. Is he going to be healthy? I don't know, because you got Yordan Alvarez as DH. That's going to be a good boost for the lineup too. Kyle Tucker, I like Kyle Tucker. I think Kyle Tucker could end up being a pretty decent bat. I had him as a breakout candidate this past year, and he ended up playing pretty well. And but yeah, Jackie Bradley, I think would be. I mean, I love defense up the middle. You know, center field, catcher, second base, short. You know, if you got a good defensive center fielder out there who can add something with the bat, I love that. Yeah. When I look at this team, man, I don't know. I'm gonna go 90. I'm gonna go 90 right now. I could change my mind. So
I think 90 sounds about right. Yeah. I think that there could be. I mean, there's a potential for 3 90-win teams in the AL West, and somebody will slip. Houston is a good bet for that. So we have
1 year for a team in the West to make a surprise. This is
it'll be interesting to it's going to be fascinating to watch. And Robbie and I have now done the tour of the American League. We've gone through, given our thoughts on the overs and the unders, a few that are close, a few that we want to put up a little bit higher. But this was a fun chat. I appreciate this. Went a little bit longer than I think I thought, but I loved it. It was a lot of fun. I hope you had fun doing it too. This was a good time. We will have to get back together again sometime soon.
Absolutely. This was great. I'm looking at the time now. We did this. Has your stream been an hour and 53 minutes, or is this how long I've been on?
We've been 153. You came on a half hour in, so we've been going for almost an hour and a half.
Yeah, like that flew by.
It did go by fast. It goes by faster when you're talking to people. When you're conversating. Like I was on with Tyler. I was on with Wardy NYM the night. I think Tyler. I think I saw you in here. You're back in here. It was an 8. Was it the 8-hour stream? And I hopped in late. It was one of the Bauer watches, and I think I was there for like an hour and a half. And I thought I had been there for a half an hour. It goes by very, very quickly.
Yeah, what's so nice about this is like I will be on my own streams and I'll ramble for literally an hour straight. I don't even think I breathe. Some streams I do. I literally just don't stop talking. This was wonderful. This is pleasant to be able to talk to someone
it is fun. It is fun. Now, before I let you go, do you want to tell anybody about anything you've got that you're working on? Promote the live streams. When are you going live again? Tell the folks here who maybe are finding you for the first time, where they can find you, what you're doing next.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny how this off season has just been. It's had its ups and downs. You know, it's felt like the slowest of off seasons, but then it's felt like the most like amazing off season at times too. Like, oh my God, these trades that are happening and blah blah blah. So off-season mode is done now. It feels almost like a relief, you know, like the off-season has just been, I don't know what word would you give this off-season. It was I don't know why it was a good off-season, but just so much downtime at some points. And it really took a long time to get going. It was
a marathon. It was a marathon because it started out slow and it picked up pace and then it slowed down again and it picked up pace. It was like a marathon.
Yeah. And you know, it's, so in a way it feels like a relief that Bauer, that Trevor Bauer signing was just me personally. I told this on my stream, I was getting gas, you know, I was like, all right, I need some gas for work tomorrow morning. Let me go get some gas really quick. I'm not doing anything right now. I'll be here tonight. Bauer could sign tonight. I go get it. I'm at the light. I just leave. Or whoever broke it, Heyman broke it. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like now,
gotta go.
So I literally, oh my God, I flew around. I'm like, I wanted to start wailing on my horn because I was like, I gotta get home. I don't care about gas anymore. Like, so almost ran out of gas the next day because I just said, forget the gas. I literally ran into I flew in probably like 60 miles an hour into my parking lot where I live in my apartment, and probably scaring young children in cars, and just probably almost caused like 4 accidents. But I ran into my apartment. I never said this part on my stream. I never actually even closed my door. I realized it after
the door's open.
I got done with the stream and I looked to my left and my door was actually open. I never actually closed my door, and I actually never said that. I forgot to tell my people watching on my streams that. But that day was so just whoa, like
wild.
It was. I was tired after that. Like I just, oh man. So I'm glad the off season's done. You know, still got a few more guys out there, but. Anyway, getting back to the original question. Sorry I rambled, but we're going to start getting into previewing just like we're doing here. Going to preview each division. We're going to talk predictions. I am terrible at predictions, so yes, it's going to be great to see all of the reactions on all of the predictions I give.
Oh yeah, I mean predictions are just made to go wrong, right?
Predictions are just dumb. They're
fun to talk about.
I love predictions. It's like we love them, you know. But it's like it's so funny how much you love doing them, but then the amount of people calling you an idiot in one day, it's like, God, is it worth it? Like myself, you know.
Here's what I have found is it's best to do predictions in a live stream than it is to do just a random upload. Yeah. Because I don't know what it is. Maybe more of the followers are in the live stream and the uploads. You find a lot of new people and they don't know anything about you, so they just attack. Because I have found some of the predictions I've done with just an upload, I get crushed. But when I do them live, I don't know why. There's just a different. And Kyle, thank you for the super chat. Kyle, don't stop talking, Robbie. Kyle.
I'm surprised he's saying don't stop talking. I need more people to tell me to stop talking sometimes. I just ramble on and on.
That's an attribute for doing the live streams to be able to go.
The streams it's really funny how the streams kind of got going. Because I was doing the editing. I was doing was never times I just wouldn't even go see like friends or like my girlfriend or whatever. Sure. Because I want to edit videos because they're so long doing the notes and whatever. And I was doing the live streams. The very first live stream I did, that was another go to that first ever live stream I did, the Yankees Nationals opening night. Really bad. Like it was really bad. I was doing it on my iPad, and I was going to do it through because I didn't have a camera at the time. I didn't have an actual camera. I didn't have a desktop computer. I had my iPad. And so I was doing everything with my phone. I actually, the first 6 months of my channel, I did everything on this phone. I edited everything on this, like iMovie. So if anyone ever wants to start a channel, just know I did this for 6 months. That's all I did. I had no iPad. I had no computer. This is what was the first 6 months. So yeah, editing a video on this freaking little screen, it drives me insane. But that's how much I love doing it. Anyway, but the first ever live stream I did it with the iPad. It just looked terrible. It was on the corner of my, table. And I was just watching the game. But I noticed, I'm like, wow, we got like 100 people in here. This is cool. And so at the time I was smaller. So the live streams, I've really grown to love. The editing, I still love the editing and whatnot, but it's something about the live streams, the interacting, talking with people. Yeah. But I'm more of just like I can't really, it's weird when I'm recording a video, I feel unnatural in a way, but when I'm doing a live stream, I just feel like I'm actually having just a conversation, and I'm more natural that way. And I think people can see that a little bit. Right. And hey, it's just a lot less work just in editing and stuff. So
you have to edit. I agree with you. The live streams are fun. I find that it's there's something if you're browsing through YouTube and you get a recommended video and it says that it's live, it's kind of more appealing to see, okay, what this is happening right now. Let's go check it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
My own habits, just browsing through YouTube, that's an appealing thing. And the ability to interact is is great to be able to interact with the folks who have subscribed and follow and everything. That's a lot of fun. So everybody that is here right now in the chat, it is getting late. It is midnight on the East. I love that you guys are here. And yeah, we're having a fun talk with Robbie now. We're just chatting about streaming and YouTubing in general.
But just for, again, I'm very excited for the next few weeks previewing predictions. I am very excited for the live predictions that that's going to be, I'm hoping just going to be a fun show I'm hoping we get a Trevor Bauer like crowd, like the day we had that that signing happened, like the Nolan Arenado, we had like 400 people in the chat. I was like, whoa, this is awesome. I think Wardy is he still here? He had like 3,000 people in his chat at one point. I was watching that because that was Thursday. That was the Thursday. I think it was Thursday or Friday. He was doing the Bauer watch. Insane. The day when it was all, that was just, it was great for him to be there. He's there. That was just awesome because you're there. And if you searched for, Trevor Bauer and Mets, or probably even if you just searched Mets, I think because he'd been there and so many people were hopping in, it was the top result. It was just killing it. Well, because I was, I actually took off work that day, which was, thank God I did, because I wouldn't have been able to do the stream at the time. And of course I go to get gas, like of all the things. But but it was funny because I was kind of popping in a couple of times, just seeing like, what are people talking about Bauer to the Mets? He's always going to have that reaction, that amazing reaction with when Bauer signed with the Dodgers. Still amazing. I watched that a couple of times. It was like, no. You live.
That's a great thing. That's the beauty about live. That's what's wonderful about live. People
love seeing people react in sadness, and that is going to go down in infamy. And that was so good. I watched that a couple of times, and it was funny. It made me laugh. But yeah. So everyone, absolutely. Thank you for coming out here tonight. But definitely be on the lookout. Previews, predictions. Eventually, I'm going to do a live prediction show at one point. Would love to do this more. This would be fantastic, especially during the season. I feel like the long winding season. We're gonna have to find things to do, and I think this is gonna make it a lot easier to keep ourselves sane during a long season where we can watch some games and whatever.
I think we could. I was talking with Tyler about this, maybe a potential when the Blue Jays and Mets play, trying to do something. I think you and I win. Red Sox and Jays, maybe the first time they meet up on, we can do what I was thinking would be fun would be to do like a home and home. So on for the Thursday game, we do an hour, like the first hour of the game, you and me, we stream, we talk about the game, we watch the game with our viewer. We do it on your channel for the Thursday game, and then do it on my channel for the Friday game. And so it's like a back-to-back home and home situation for a Jays and a Red Sox game.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm going to do the MLB TV. So
always.
Yeah. So definitely going to do that. And so I'll be able to watch the games. So yeah, that'd be fantastic. I would love that. That's going to be awesome, but definitely looking forward to, again, we're not quite normal again, but it is going to be nice to see spring training kind of, hopefully nothing happens. Like, can we just please have spring training this time?
Hopefully, man, everything, listen, the way this COVID thing's going, the hospitalizations are down, the numbers are down, it's almost down. It's like bottoming out. It's not gone, and it's still very serious. But when you look at the numbers, the charts, it's just like it was this, and then So let's hope that continues.
Yeah, I've said this on my shows. Like, I will go put on 5 stupid masks if that's what I got to do to go go watch a game, go eat a hot dog, have a cold beer, and God, I miss it.
I know.
I said this, a couple streams ago. I think we're going to look back on this past season, and I think we're going to appreciate this past season, because this season made me really miss this game. Like,
I'm with you.
Just how you kind of in a way, I almost underrated like how just much I loved the game, and no fans was just miserable. Like, it's like oh my God. And
it was like
just
a reminder. It
Yeah.
was a reminder of how crappy everything was to
Right.
turn on a baseball game
Yeah.
and behind there was nothing, or they had the cardboard cutouts, which were kind of fun for a week or two as a placeholder. But then even that was just a reminder that it stinks right now.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I mean, the cardboard cutouts, I just loved it when one of them got hit. Like that was like my favorite part personally.
I'm always going to be curious about how they handled those things with the elements. I fully expected that by playoff time, some of those teams that had them all year long, they were just going to get crumpled up. Like in Buffalo, they had them in Buffalo. How did they get those through the season with the wind and the rain and the elements without looking? Thought there was just going to be a bunch of wilted cardboard by the end of the season, and they must have replaced them or something. I don't know.
They're going to be back in Toronto, right? Like that's happening.
No, they're going to start the year in Dunedin, most likely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
They're going to probably start in Dunedin and maybe get back to Toronto at some point. Maybe these numbers continue to bottom and Canada will allow it. It's the travel.
Yeah.
It's the Yankees, it's the Orioles, it's the Red Sox, it's teams coming into Canada that it's just not cool with. So I have a feeling it is going to be a Dunedin situation, maybe Buffalo if Dunedin doesn't work, but I think they're delaying the start of those lower levels, so there won't be Dunedin Blue Jays yet, but there will be Buffalo Bisons. So they're gonna need to have the Jays will hang out down there in the Tampa area, and I guess they'll hang out with the with the Raptors. I think the Raptors are playing in either Tampa or Orlando right now too. Yeah,
I was going to say one other thing I'm going to really appreciate having back is minor league baseball. That's going to be I actually, you know, this past year I was kind of like, oh, what's this guy doing? I'm like, oh wait, there's no minor
nothing.
League.
You can't see. Yeah,
like,
they didn't have stats for those camps.
Or, like anything. And I was like, oh man, you know, when I really first started looking at prospects was back in like 2007. Like I've really got fully into baseball like 2003. But 2007 was when I first started paying attention to prospects. Because Clay Buchholz at the time was like the top pitching prospect for the Red Sox. Besides, Lester was already up at that point. But I remember seeing Buchholz at Pawtucket, and I'm like, God, I can't wait for this guy to get to the major leagues. And he throws a no-hitter, and I was watching it live. I was like, oh my God, I love that. I love minor leagues. So yeah, that's going to be something I'm very excited to get back as well. Because I love that. I as much as I love the today, I love the tomorrow as well.
I agree.
So
I'm with you. I love watching a prospect come up, right? You love watching him. Oh, he's getting a call up to AA. And then a month later, he tears up AA. He's going to AAA just to follow that. The hype that can be built with stuff like that, right? Like in Philly, Mickey Moniak, who was one of their top prospects or top picks a few years ago, makes a debut. Nobody knew, nobody cared. But if he had torn up AAA, I'm with you.
You know, like I remember, I love prospects coming up because you look at someone. I mean, I don't even know if he exists anymore, Jacoby Ellsbury, but his very first at bat, he just tops the ball right into the dirt. Catcher easily throws him out at first. I'm like, oh, great. What a great first at bat for Jacoby Ellsbury. Even Dustin Pedroia, horrible start to his career. You know, terrible. People were like, oh my God. Terry Francona, because it was funny because Pedroia was like kind of a fluffy little boy when he first came up. He had a little weight on him. And then Terry Francona's like, who the heck is this fat kid? Like, what's going on? Who is this? Who's this Dustin guy? And then he ends up becoming a Red Sox legend. And so, very excited for the minor leagues. And especially as a Blue Jays fan, you got to be excited about some of these prospects.
Oh, I can't wait to see Austin Martin play. Martin play.
What a gift. I went into, because I love the Blue Jays subreddit so much, I just went into the Blue Jays Reddit one day and I just said, hey, everyone, Red Sox fan here. Just want to say congrats on the Austin Martin, draft pick. What a birthday gift. And then I got like 100 upvotes on that. And I was like, dang, these Blue Jays fans, man, the most friendly fans, I swear.
It was that was a nice one. And we do have, I just want to, it's coming up in the chat, so I just want to address it real quick. This is a green screen. And and I'll show you guys.
Actually, I always wondered about this.
I like to have fun with my green screen. So here I am hanging out in spring training, ready to go with the green screen. So the reason I do it, though, anybody that's curious, is I have a very fine, basement, finished TVs, the wall decorations, the man cave situation. But the problem is I also have 2 very young children. And if I were to take the green screen away, it would basically be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Thomas the Train and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I just I don't want anybody to think I'm trying to be sneaky with the situation. It is honestly just because I went looking for backgrounds. I've got a Mets one too. Anybody? Go Mets! Gotta love the Mets. Go Mets! We should have got
great.
Bauer. Where's my Bauer all? Let's go. So let me switch this back now. So I've got a bunch of different basements, and that's just the one I use because I don't know. I like it. I like it the most. I've also got Bud Selig's old. This is Bud Selig's office.
I think it's hilarious.
So when things get serious, we need to have a serious conversation. We'll go up to Bud's office.
It's great.
But yeah. Anyway, the just to kind of have some fun with it. This is, I don't know. I like the baseball floor. If we ever move, I think I might have a baseball carpet installed. It'd be pretty sweet.
There was something else in the chat. I actually, I saw someone asking it earlier because if I may, I told this story a couple of streams ago. One other thing I love about minor league players is being able to go see them in spring training. I love. That's why I like spring training, because it's like, all right, cool, major league guys. I got my fill for a few innings. All right, let's get some of these other guys in here. I'm pretty excited to see. There's one spring training back in, it was 2006. The Red Sox had just saw Johnny Damon go to the Yankees, and they brought in Coco Crisp. And so I'm 16 years old at the time, loving my Red Sox all over them. And so I used to live in Vero Beach, Florida, down south. Yeah. And the Dodgers used to have their spring training complex there. It was called Dodger Town. It was there since like the 50s. Yep. And they closed it down, so they're not using it anymore. They moved to Arizona for spring training. But so every spring training I would go, and especially because my Red Sox would come once per spring training. And so there was this one little area where the clubhouse was. It was so the dugouts were, obviously by the field, and then you would have to pass by this like little area where there was like a gated fence, not very like a high fence, like chest high or whatever, and it's like a very small little area, but people would kind of gather around in this small little area trying to get autographs because it was right next to the clubhouse. And so of course, I had my my fill of squeezing in, trying to get like an autograph. But there was one time, the 5th inning, and I'm going to the bathroom or getting food. I don't remember exactly. And I see there was no one there except there was an old lady and there was Coco Crisp. They were having like this conversation. No one else was there. I'm like looking around. I'm like, there's no one else here. There's Coco Crisp standing right there. My immediate instinct took over. I ran straight to the gate, like to the fence, completely interrupted this like lovely conversation they were having. This lady was like 90 years old, like the sweetest little old lady. And I just said, I don't care who you are. Excuse me, Coco Crisp, can you please sign my ball? And he looked at me. So I don't know. I think I'm going to say there's a good chance I may be the only one here right now that has gotten a death stare from a Major League Baseball player. Coco Crisp literally wanted to kill me. I'm not even kidding. No. I'm not even kidding. It was the most awkward moment of my life because the guy just stared at me for like 10 seconds. Like it was the most laser locked death stare I've ever gotten in my entire life. And this old lady's just like having a nice day, and she's like,
here's Sonny, I'll sign it for you.
Luckily he did. He was like, he just like extended his hand, and he didn't even say anything. So I was like, and I just put the baseball in his hand. He did sign it. He did sign it. So I was like, oh, thank you. And I ran off back to my seat. So yeah, I saw someone in the story in the chat wanting to hear that story. So it was Zachary Goldstein. Yeah. So
that's funny. That's a good one. That's a great story.
That's why spring training is awesome, because we get these minor league players and Coco Crisp. So
2022. There's a spring training thing happening. I'm going down. I'm sure a bunch of us will go down. We should coordinate something. We could
yeah, absolutely, man. Like, especially like if it gets to, hopefully we can keep growing and, get to a decent amount, man, that'd be great, man. If like get a much bigger crowd, of people coming into our streams and looking at our videos and stuff.
We could do. I mean, yeah, there could be like I'm not going this year, but I know I'm going in 2022. That is for sure, and I think that it would be fun for if like look, if we're all doing it, if we're all interested in it, if we want to do it, like I think it'd be fun to have a group. We could all go down and we could just. Like we could turn it into a big stream fest. Like we could just turn it into half fun, half, let's do stuff for the channel. It could be kind of a neat thing to do.
Yeah. And hey, I'm here in Florida. So, figure it out, figure something out. But who knows? Maybe not this year.
Tyler's going to 2022. All right. This thing's happening, folks. We're putting it together right here.
We got a year away, man. We got a year away. So
I'm definitely going in 2022. I'm going for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll let you get out of here, man. I just realized it's 12:15. I got some young annoying children to teach tomorrow morning.
You go get some rest so you can teach them to be well-rounded citizens and all of that. Thank you for joining the stream, everybody. That if you haven't yet, make sure you go and subscribe to Robbie Hyde on YouTube. Find him on Twitter at GingerSnap. What's the Twitter is?
What is my name on Twitter? GingerSnap Hyde. Yes,
there it is.
All right.
So make sure you guys check that all out on YouTube and on Twitter for Robbie for more, and keep an eye out for more live streams. Robbie, thank you for joining.
Hey, thank you for having me, man. This was awesome. Had a lot of fun tonight. So I will be in the next streams whenever you're going live. So
right on. All right, buddy. Have a good one.
Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out and enjoying. I hope you enjoyed that. We had a good time there. We spent a lot of time talking about the AL, and we also spent a lot of time just kind of talking about some behind the curtain stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. There was some more prep that I put together, but at this point, being that it is 12:18, I think what is ultimately going to happen is I'm going to save that. So Blue Jays fans, I do have some Blue Jays content that is coming. It won't be tonight, but I am going to probably get it done tomorrow. I teased it a little bit the other day. You're going to see some spring training content. I have some Blue Jays spring training content that will come out. Thank you, Tyler. We definitely got to get the three of us. Let's do it. Let's get something going. And I think that we can have some fun doing that. We just got to figure out when and how we can all make it work. I did see some Taiwan Walker, not news, but maybe we're going to get something tomorrow. He's been all over that. KD, thank you for the super chat. Thank you, BALLCAP. Go Jays. Go Jays indeed. Stay close to the channel. There will be some more. There's going to be some Blue Jays content. I did some prep. I have some notes. I have some graphics. I'm going to save it because it's late. I will have it for you guys probably tomorrow. I don't know. You may not be able to tell, but I think I'm starting to fight a cold. Not any symptoms for the COVID thing, but I do think I'm starting to fight a cold. I got a runny nose, and you maybe heard me sniffle a few times. But anyway, I'm going to put some Jays content together, and I'll have that probably tomorrow. So we do think we're going to get a Walker signing tomorrow. I hope so. He's got to. I mean, him and Odorizzi need to sign. I don't know what they're doing. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Zach. Thanks, Tyler. I do think that those two need to sign tomorrow or Thursday. Well, I guess tomorrow is Thursday. If you're on the East Coast, tomorrow is Thursday. We'll see. They got to sign. We got to get them done. Zachary, a Yankee fan, but also like the Jays. Zachary goes back, way back to the postseason predictions, to when I really started doing a lot of the, the talking head stuff. Let's see what happened to Kawasaki, fun guy who's a Blue Jay. I don't know what happened to him. I remember him. He was a middle infielder, right? He was great. Not sure what happened to him. Jay's camp starts Thursday, so he's got a day. Yeah. I got to think that that's going to happen. I do think that's got to happen. Hey guys, listen, I hope you had a great, enjoyed the stream tonight. Again, this is the new format that we're going to roll out there. We'll sign off in a minute. I'll go through my whole spiel. If you're on your way out, make sure to hit the like on the way out. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. But this is the new format that we're going to do. This is the, we're going to have sort of the monologue, the quick takes for about 15 minutes. Then we got a couple guests. Already have both guests lined up for next week. One of them is going to be Eric from Hum Baby Baseball. Do I think Kirk will be on the opening day roster? I do, Rocky. And Raul, do I think Walker get 10 AAV? Maybe. I think if he gets 10, it's probably a 1-year deal. I think he should do 2 for 16. But if he wants 10, it's probably going to be a 1-year deal. Kyle, thank you, Kyle, for being the moderator. We do have a couple other moderators that have been popping in and out. We got to get a couple more. But Kyle did a great job. Again, everybody, thank you for being here. This will be how we're going to do it. Opening monologue, guest. I'm excited to tell you who the 10:15. So Eric is going to be the 10:30 guest. I can't wait. Jays fans, I cannot wait to tell you who the 10:15 guest is going to be. So keep an eye on Twitter. I'm going to announce it on Twitter. So if you don't follow me on Twitter, tomorrow is where I will make the announcement. Okay, I want to try to give you guys a hint without giving it away and without also setting your expectation too high. I'll say Florida State. How about that? I will say there's the hint. For the 10:15 guest next Tuesday, I'm going to give you a hint. It's Florida State University. So we try to find out if you want to find that out. But again, on Twitter, at Jim Riley Live is where I'm going to announce it tomorrow. I'm going to put a little promo together. We'll announce that, and we'll have Eric as well. It's not Alec Manoah. That day may come, but keep an eye on it. Keep close, and it'll be fun. So. Listen, guys, thank you. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow me on Twitter for that announcement. It is at Jim Riley Live. I think if you search BALLCAP Sports, it should show up too. But thank you guys for being here. We will leave with some video. What are we going to leave with? We are going to leave with what do we got? Let's leave with some Nate Pearson strikeouts. Have a wonderful Tuesday evening. I see a lot of you guys saying good night. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you for being here, especially those who are here at the end. Appreciate you. Have a great evening. I will talk to you again. We'll have the announcement tomorrow. We'll have some videos, some Blue Jays videos in the next 24 to 48 hours. If I can get those recorded and up, it's crazy during the day. We'll figure it out. We'll get it out to you guys. Here is Nate Pearson striking some people out. Have a good evening, and I will talk to you guys next time. Have a good
command your fastball. That's wicked right there. Look at this.
I mean, an 87-mile-an-hour slider.
Nate Pearson